Hey, everybody. Sus Day. That's how we say hello in Cambodia, kind of informally. The formal hello greeting is Chim Rip Sur. So welcome. This topic is by request. Um, I am going to add in the comments the link to come up on panel. Oh, I have one eyeball already. Hello, who's here? Comment. Tell me who's here. We're gonna have fun tonight, talking about paranormal stories, esoteric stories. But then, of course, this is a ramble, so we'll probably just talk about lots of things. Andy, welcome. Hello. Currently heard what I thought was my rooster on the fence line. Cock-a-doodle-doo. I had chickens once. I loved having chickens. They were very relaxing, almost like having a fish tank in the house or in the office where you can just sit and watch the fish. Well, you just watch the chickens. They had their little routine of going around the yard, so you knew at a particular time of day they were here, and then they were here, and they had a little area that they would dust bath themselves. Well, the interesting thing about roosters is that, of course, traditionally it's you wake up, the sun rises, and they cock-a-doodle-doo at dawn, and but no, roosters cock-a-doodle-doo all day and all night. That it's not just at dawn. They cock-a-doodle-doo all the time. So I did yesterday. I scheduled this, so hopefully we have people that are interested that maybe joined last time as well, that paid attention to that. And I wish, what I wish I could do is see, like in the analytics and stuff, see how many people click the notification of the schedule of, when it says it's scheduled, and then you can click the notification for this live, as opposed to the channel. I wish I could see like how many people. Maybe I can. I don't know where to find that if it's there. My rooster chimed in 60 feet away in his pen, so it was not my rooster at 4 a.m. Oh my goodness! Did you have to wake up for this live? Or were you like already awake? Did you set an alarm? Because I know you're on the Pacific time, and it's 9 p.m. for me here, which is 9 a.m. Eastern time. So 9, 8, 7, 6. Shouldn't it be 6 a.m. for you? Oh, at 4 a.m. 2 hours ago, it was chiming in, I guess. Maybe is what you're saying. So Andy, do you have any paranormal or esoteric stories that you're going to want to share with us tonight? You don't have to share it yet. We can wait for a few more people. I think Chalet, she's the one who wanted this topic, so I'm guessing that she'll be jumping in soon. Up now, had to get wifey out to work. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock now. Oh, well, that's nice that you helped send her off to her job. I think not every partner will be that dedicated and devoted to their spouse. I see a second eyeball that says 2 now. So say hello. Who else is here? Who else is here? Is it somebody that's already part of the crew, or is it somebody new that's just stopping by? Because I mean, then it might be boring if they're not we're not talking about our stories yet. A few handyman since Northridge earthquake, lots of stuff. Ah, yeah. That was a big earthquake a long time ago now. I remember, here, I'll tell you a story. It's not paranormal story yet, but it's a story that about earthquakes. So I grew up in California, and earthquakes were nothing to me. In fact, earthquakes were kind of fun. And whenever there was an earthquake, you'd kind of like, oh, position yourself to like really feel it. And then you would guess, oh, it's a 2.3 or it's a 3.8 or whatever, because they were usually in the twos and the twos and threes range, that you would feel commonly. And so when the big one, gosh, Loma Prieta, was it called Loma Prieta? Is that what they ended up calling it? The one that like the double-decker highway in Oakland collapsed. So I was living in Modesto, California, which is just inland from San Francisco in the Central Valley, south of Sacramento. And it's about due east. Yeah, due east from Silicon Valley. And anyway, so that earthquake hit and I could feel it. My first impression, I was living in a mobile home at the time. I had 3 kids. I don't know if all 3 of them were born yet. You'd have to tell me what year the Loma Prieta was, because I know it was in the 80s. Your wife is an agricultural inspector, and you open the gate for her every time because she needs to go out in any weather. Wow, that's awesome. So anyway, I was living in a mobile home. I had little kids, and it felt like the washing machine. Like when the washing machine is agitating or spinning, when it's spinning and you kind of get this boom, 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 you would feel it in the mobile home. And so you'd kind of have this little bit of shaking when the washing machine was spinning. And that was my first thought, was that the washing machine was spinning. And I was like, well, wait a minute, I'm not doing any laundry. And I was, oh, it's an earthquake. And I got my kids and I'm like, kids, come here, sit. We went outside where we were actually on the ground. And I'm like, you feel it? It's an earthquake, and all excited about it. And so then I went inside. My mom was living in the Bay Area at the time. And I think I tried to call her, say, oh, did you feel it too, or whatever. And I remember the TV stations were out just for like maybe 5 minutes or something. Because then I was like, okay, I want to know where's the epicenter, and how strong was it? And all the reports started coming in about how tragic it was. And I had this feeling like at the very moment that people were dying, I'm like with my friend, not my friends, my kids, like having fun with the earthquake, and people were dying at that very moment, and it was, so, I mean, I guess that's would probably kind of qualify as a little bit of like survivor's guilt, in a sense, because I survived the earthquake and they didn't, so it would kind of, but on a very small scale, not like people that survive a really bad trauma, that were actually like people that were part of a trauma and then survived it. It wasn't like that, because I didn't experience the trauma of it happening. But yeah, still, yeah, that earthquakes. I don't know, why did we get on? Oh, because you mentioned Northridge. I didn't feel that one. That was too far south. Oh, yeah. So inspecting agriculture. Now that's like, is that plants, or does that include like animals? Because I know that I think like dairies and things like that, and if you're raising beef or chicken or whatever, that's still under like the Department of Agriculture. So is she literally inspecting agriculture as in plants and fields and things like that? Or does she, or is that called like a different, I know you have meat inspectors, but that would be like after an animal's butchered, I think. You know, just curious about that. Eyeball number 2, you're not going to introduce yourself? Please go ahead and join in the comments and say hello. Both. She inspects both. Yeah. Yeah, especially in California. I know you're in the northern California, but in the Central Valley, you know, a lot of agriculture. In fact, I was amazed that not only does California grow a lot of food for the country, but it grows food for the world. And I think that California alone, its economy, and in particular its agricultural economy, would be in like the top 5. If it was a nation, if California was a nation and that economy was a nation, it would be like in the top 5 countries of the world. On that. Oh, Chalet. Oh, you were being quiet. I told Andy in the very beginning, I said, Chalet's the one who requested paranormal topics. So, you know, that you'd be jumping in soon. We have a number 3. Or Chalet, was that like a delayed eyeballs on you? So number 3, please say hello in the comments, so we can say hi to you. Good morning. I'm just putting my face on. Yeah. Aren't you? Isn't that late to be putting your face? I don't even have any. This morning, so like more than 12 hours ago, I had put eyeliner on, you know, so it always makes me look better if I have eyeliner on. Oh, Andy, microscope inspection, grown foods, animals must have in. Takes 2 hands. Yeah, so that's difficult to move the mouse around or something on the computer because you're using 2 hands. She's with shortly but listening. Okay. Microscope eye for growth goods, papers for animals, destination important. Oh, for sure. For sure. So many inspections, you know, and there's so much care. I lived, like I said, the Modesto, you know, Stockton area. That's it's not close to Fresno, close to Merced. And so they had a lot of turkey farms there. And I was in the habit with my kids, if we were out driving between point A and point B and I see something interesting, I would just stop the car and basically have a little field trip with my kids. And so one day we stopped at a turkey farm and said, oh, you know, is it, you know, can we see the turkeys or whatever? And it was highly regulated. I mean, I think they let us have like a quick view, but not like really going inside, because like they are so, and this is how I learned about it, because at the time I stopped, otherwise I wouldn't have known, that they have to protect those turkeys from getting any kind of disease, because it would like completely wipe out everything, because they're very susceptible to getting disease, I guess. But yeah, and transportation and all of the logistics of permits and, like you're saying, inspections for the that they're cleared. Yeah, interesting. Andy's saying good morning to Shelly. Look at those coffee cups. Oh, that sounds so, even though it's in the evening for me, I would love to have a decaf coffee. Maybe I'll make myself one. Okay, so are you guys ready for my paranormal story? It's like, okay, I got to have one to start off with. I think I had, in our last live, I had shared, oh yeah, the story of Michael Collins and I being able to communicate when we're asleep, you know. So this is a more paranormal one, and I'm going to share a tab for you first, so you know where I am talking about. Share screen, Chrome tab. So I want to share this one first, I think. Come back over to the StreamYard, see if you guys There we go. Okay. Oh, I wanted to share the other one first. It's all right. I don't need to share the other one if I'm sharing this one. The other one was just kind of larger, so you could see more of the hot springs. But this shows exactly where I was in the story. So there's an upper pool that you can see and a lower pool. By the way, this is Pa Tempe Hot Springs. I'll write it down for you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Chalet. Pa Tempe Hot Springs. So there, I just put the name in the comments. I used to work there. It's in Utah. I was attending Southern Utah University at the time. And so on the weekends and sometimes during a weekday, if I didn't have classes, I would come and I would work here. And I think it was just barter. I don't think I actually got paid money. I didn't need to get paid money. I just wanted to be able to save my own money by not having to pay to enter the hot springs. And so I was sitting in the lower pool. You see, the upper pool is kind of on the right side of the screen, and the lower pool kind of goes to the left side of the screen. Because I believe that I can't mouse it, I can't point or anything. So I just have to describe. So I want to set this up for you before I tell you exactly what happened. So I was in the lower pool with one friend and then somebody else who was just there at the hot springs, but I believe there was the three of us that were sitting and talking to each other. So my friend had their back to the river. So they're in the lower pool, and on the very left-hand side, and then vertically up and down the very middle, you kind of see a little bit of a wall, a straight line wall. So he was sitting back there. And so then from that wall, there's a little retaining wall that connects to the upper pool side. There was someone sitting there. And then I was sitting kind of like, you see that little bit of waterfall part. So I would have been to the left of that, right? So the three of us were sitting there having a conversation. Now, previously in a few, like at this time in my life, I was a lot of times, like in Muse News and things, we talk about frequencies, and the earth is at a frequency, and our DNA is at a frequency, and water is at a frequency. All these things about like frequencies on the like esoteric side of things. And so I was like, I had a different frequency at this time. I don't know if it was a rising frequency or lowering, I don't know, from normal to, it was a more spiritual frequency. All right. Wherever that is on the frequency scale. And I had like hummingbirds that would come and land on my finger. And we, wouldn't talk to each other, but, it'd kind of be on the same wavelength. Right. And things. And so all these special things were happening at this time. And I was praying, Lord, I really believe in fairies. I believe they're real. I believe that they're, my best guess is that they're little angels. And, like we have like these big angels with the wings and the swords and stuff that help protect us from our enemies or administer healing to us or different things like that. But, the Archangel Michael and Gabriel, and, there's those big angels, but the fairies are just little angels that are like protecting the flowers and nature and stuff. Maybe that's like what I'm guessing. Right. I'm like, well, Lord, if they're real, please open my eyes to the spiritual realm, because I think they're living beside us. But I wasn't using the word frequency at the time. But now we could say they're at a different frequency. But if our frequency ends up getting in tune, then our eyes can see them, right? I'm like, open my eyes to a fairy. I'd really like that, Lord. I mean, if it's your will, if you agree that that's okay, it would make me really happy if I could see a fairy. Let me read Andy's comment before I continue. Your rooster made a sound that seemed to change to a small dog bark from roo, 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 roo to a kind of ruff, ruff, ruff. None of my dogs barked near. None of your dogs were barking, nor the half a dozen hound hunting dogs next door either. Wow. So there's your little, a nice little story that the rooster changed what it sounded like. So it sounded like a dog, because you knew it wasn't any of the other dogs. It had to be the rooster that was making the sound, but instead of its normal sound, it sounded like a dog. Wow. Maybe the rooster was trying to talk to the dogs. popcorn. Okay, back to the popcorn. And angel emojis. Okay, I was like, what are those emojis? Angel emojis. Okay, so here I am sitting in the pool talking to these people, and just hovering in the corner, peripheral vision, within my vision, but at the side, at the corner of my eye, I see what I think is a dragonfly. And it's just hovering there, which, as I said, at this time, hummingbirds, dragonflies, they would just come and land on my finger and everything. I was surrounded by this being in tune with nature. So it didn't surprise me that there was this dragonfly hovering by me, but it did surprise me that it stayed there for so long while we're having this conversation with the other people. And so when it flew away, I said to the other two people, I said, wow, wasn't that cool that dragonfly just kind of hovered next to my face for so long? And they're like, what? There was no dragonfly. And I'm like, you guys didn't see that dragonfly? It was like right there by my face. So how could they be talking to me and looking at me and not see this dragonfly hovering? And it just boom. It was like, oh, I didn't say it out loud because they would think I was totally insane, right? I was like, oh my God, it was a fairy. God answered my prayers, and he opened my eyes, and that fairy came and hovered with me, So there's a paranormal story for you, whether you believe in fairies or not. That was my experience that happened. Did I have hallucinations? I don't think so. I was quite sane. And so there I started the ball rolling with the paranormal story. And it was at the hot springs there. So does anyone want to come on panel and talk about their story? At the beginning, if you scroll to the top of you're welcome. The link to come on panel is at the top of the comments. I don't know. I suppose, can I pin? If I pin it, then it'll just always be like at the top of whatever you're seeing. Put user. My options are put the user in timeout or block the user. No, I don't want to block myself. New comments. I will put some clothes on and think about it. Yeah, please do not come on panel without your clothes on. You guys, I don't know if you ever watched T-Rev, but a while ago, I think it was during all the Kylie Rodney stuff, he let somebody on panel, but he didn't check their video first or something, or maybe he did, but it was just normal. And so he put them on, and then the person revealed their lower self, a male, and he had to quickly take that off, so that he doesn't get a strike for, indecent exposure. happening, but that wasn't cool. You know, poor guy. But he's got thousands of people watching him and stuff. So I don't think that our little community, at least at this point, has to worry about that. So, well, let me see. Am I supposed to? Did paranormal and esoteric? Did anybody ever listen to the Art Bell show on the radio back when we still used radios? Well, I could get 1,000 people to watch this if I did that. Yeah, Chalet. Good point. Let's raise my subscribers, Chalet. You got to come on here right now before you put your clothes on. But Art Bell, his radio show, it was like in the middle of the night, something about midnight or whatever. But it was like a 3-hour show, I think, at least. Maybe 2, but I think maybe 3. Charge millions, yeah, for sure. And he always had the strangest topics: conspiracies, paranormal, esoteric, whatever. Just weird, wacky. You never knew what kind of guest he was going to have on. Then when he died, George Norrie took over, because I can't remember what they called the show itself. They didn't call it the Art Bell Show. Coast to Coast. It was called Coast to Coast AM. Coast to Coast AM. Because when you have an AM signal going out at night, it can go like so far. It's not so limited. It can catch the airwaves and like just go very, very, very far. And but he'd have these really strange guests on, and he always treated them with respect. I love that about him. Didn't matter how crazy the person was, he would ask them questions as if they were the most sane person in the world. And then us as the listeners could decide whether we believed that person or thought they were crazy. Like now he would interview, I mean, he's dead now, but what on YouTube and things right now, you've got a lot of the flat earth movement. I know, Mabel, are you the third? There's 3 eyeballs, and I only know about Andy and Shelley. I don't know who the third eyeball is. They're staying silent. But no, if it was Mabel, then Mabel would have said something. So maybe the third person is someone new who's just checking out, seeing if they like us here or not. But Mabel did. I believe she left a comment on like the scheduling of it, that she was planning, that like, oh, goody, she was planning on joining. I don't know. She left a comment on one of the videos. Anyway, but like, so for example, with Art Bell, if the flat earthers, like, he would definitely have somebody who believes in flat earth there on, as a guest, and he would in I'm saying would as in possibility, not would as in past tense. Yeah, then he would treat them with the utmost of respect, and then all of us listening could decide whether we believed what this person was saying about the flat earth or not, right? For the record, no, I do not believe in flat earth, but if you want to believe that, that's okay. And yeah, but he'd have things like JFK, right? And yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he would have thought about Q and the whole Q movement. I know a lot of people that I followed Q in the beginning, but after a couple of years, it was like nothing significant is happening. So I don't believe this. I mean, I believe that a lot of the posts were real, but like whoever's controlling it, I don't trust that whoever's controlling it, right? Muse, Pam, hi Pam. Yay, yes, now we have 4 eyeballs, so we still have a mystery third viewer, but that's okay. You can stay in the background and watch, that's fine. I already told my paranormal story about seeing a fairy, Pam. You'll have to watch the beginning on replay. Well, not be, if it's 30 minutes now, it was maybe 10 minutes ago that I told the story. So about maybe 15 or 20 minutes in, I told the story. That's why I have the picture of the hot springs up. Yeah, the link. You guys want me to put the link again? So it's right here for you. Yeah, Pam, I want to hear your paranormal stories. But anyway, it would be interesting to see what Art Bell would have thought of Q and the Q movement. Cool. Yes, yes. It was like I was at these hot springs, and I thought it was a dragonfly hovering by my face, just in my peripheral vision, and it just hovered there for so long, because the dragonflies flit around. They don't just hover, for like 5 minutes or something. It was like a really, really long time. And when I asked my friends, like, wow, what did you think about that dragonfly just hovering next to my face? They're like, what dragonfly? They didn't see it. And there's no way that if it was a dragonfly that they would have they couldn't have missed seeing it. So it had to have been a fairy in another dimension that my eyes were open to. So that's the short version. If you want a longer version, then you have to listen to the earlier. Yeah, but who else has is that I thought those were angels, because Andy found the same emoji, but maybe those are fairies instead of angels. But yeah. So who else is going to tell a story? Keeper of the Springs. Yes, yes. I had mentioned that I kind of believe that fairies are angels that take they're assigned different parts of nature, whether it's a flower or whatever, that they're assigned to help take care of. At least that's my best guess about what fairies are. But they exist on a different dimension that we don't see them in the same way that angels would be, or demons. That there's that whole other realm of existence. And David Icke, that's how you say his name, right? He gets a lot of flack for the whole reptilian people thing. And yeah, if you just look at it in the earthly realm, then people being shapeshifters and turning into reptilian things, it's like completely crazy. But if you're looking at it as a dimensional thing, and the reason you see someone in a different, shape shifting thing, you see them as a reptile, you see the whatever, is because you're seeing them on a different you tuned into the frequency that they're on, so you were able to see them that way. Because if it's like those glasses, right? What was the name of that movie about the glass? Like if you put the glasses on, you could see that everybody was zombies underneath. If you took the glasses off, then they just look normal. So Andy's telling us something. Let's see. At dusk, I turned and saw across the yard, maybe 50 yards away, what appeared to be a glimmer of a dim light, vertical, 8 feet tall, maybe 8 inches wide, kind of muted color like an abalone shell. It left rapidly. Whoa! Oh my goodness! That's awesome. That might have been an like the big angels we were talking about. Okay, I got another story. And yes, Muse, thank you. You believe children see them. David Icke, they live, move. Oh, the movie's name was They Live. Yeah, okay. Okay, I have an ancestor story. And I feel very connected to this ancestor. I know Pam and Muse News, you especially with the Native American thing, we talk a lot about the ancestors and how they watch over us and they help guide us. And so this one ancestor I feel very, very, very much connected to. His name is Polly Hannis. And she was from Scotland, and she came I think her grandfather came from Scotland. So yeah, she was born in New York, upstate New York. Um, and so she, where am I going with this? There is a historical record of an Indian attack, massacre, right, where they massacred the village of some settlers, right? I believe this was the French Indian War. It was after the Revolutionary War. And so I think you had the Revolutionary War, 1770s, right? And then just after the 1800, around the 1800, early 1800s, was the French Indian War. I'd have to look at the dates and look at her date of when she was actually born. I think she was born in 1780 or around there. I think she was born in the late 1700s. Anyway, we have a family record. My great aunt Florence was a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, which is a very, very exclusive, like, you've got to show your pedigree to become a member. So she had all the pedigree, right? So I don't have to reinvent the wheel about my mother's side, my maternal ancestors. In fact, this ancestor, when you trace back, it's almost all maternal. That, like, my mother, her mother, her mother, and you keep going like that until you get to Polly. And anyway, so the story goes, she had a couple of the story as we have it written, and I have seen other versions out there in historical records that I'm pretty sure is the same story, but they don't have the name of the person it happened to. So she's at home in the village while her husband and his brother are off fighting in this French Indian War. I think that's what they called it, right? Anyway, so they're fighting. They're all fighting. She's left home in the village. The Indians come and start to massacre the village. She locks herself inside her hut. They just says hut, right? So kind of, it's not even a cabin; it's a hut, and she has like a big cauldron, apparently maybe for like washing clothes or something, because it's big enough to put the two of the boys in it. And then, so she's hiding them and she's telling them to be quiet. I can only imagine, this part's not part of the story, but I can only imagine if there's, and we've seen movie scenes of massacres, if these Indians are, please forgive me, Native American, whatever, I don't know what tribe they were or anything. I'm reciting the story as it was told, and they used the words Indian in the story as it was told. So that's why I'm defaulting to that. Okay. So forgive me. So the Indians they got tomahawks and whatever, and they're going around, and there's got to be screaming. They're burning everything, all the other huts. There's got to be smoke, and it's got to be the sounds. She's locked in her hut. The sounds and the smells that she's experiencing must have been absolutely horrifying. There's a paranormal part to this. I'm getting to it. It's really good. So she's got the boys in the cauldron. Things start to get quiet. Maybe there's whimpering, but it's not the outright screaming anymore. Two Indians come to her door and come inside, and they motion that they want something to eat. Now, they've just massacred every single living soul in that village. They've got to be bloody. They've got to be an adrenaline. That has got to be another horrifying moment for her. So she stokes up the fire. Obviously, the washing cauldron is not on the fire, or she'd be cooking the kids, and she did not. But she cooks them something to eat. She gives them the food to eat. During this time, she starts singing a hymn or hymns. Now, I think there's some kind of Protestant. But I would love to like research. I know the name of the church that she was baptized in, and everything. So I would love to know what hymns were popular at that time, and maybe like sing some of the hymns that she might have been singing. But anyway, she's singing hymns to cover up any noise of the boys, because she doesn't want them to find the boys and kill them. So she's singing hymns. Now, what is that? That's praise. What do we know about praise and worship? It opens the gates to heaven. Well, when the Indians are done eating, they motion to each other, they're talking to each other, and she doesn't know what they're saying, and they leave really fast. They leave her and her two boys. They leave the hut and they're gone. Now, moments, I don't think she's even taken the lid off the pot yet. The brother comes. They heard her husband heard word that the Indians were headed toward their village. So he sends his brother with an extra pack horse to pick her up and get her out of the village before the Indians arrive. That's his mission. He's riding from wherever they were fighting. He's on that horse. He's got the second horse tied with him. He's racing there to rescue her before the Indians. And what does he come upon? A completely massacred village. Imagine his feelings. He's too late. Oh, he rides up to the hut. It's still standing. They're alive. So he gives her the instructions. She puts one boy in front, one boy behind, grabs a couple of frying pans, and that whatever they could have on the horse, that's all. The instructions were, go north on the river, you find someplace friendly, and I will find you. 2 years later, he found her, and they were in Ontario, in a town in Ontario, because they were in upstate New York, right? So they just crossed the Lawrence River. She crossed the Lawrence River into Ontario. Took him 2 years, and he finally found her. They settled there. Their grandson, I believe, came back into upstate New York. Now, here is the esoteric part of this. Oh, hi, Maria. Hi, Maria. I hope you didn't miss too much of the story. Here is the esoteric part of this. Those Indians, when they left and went back to their tribe, decided that she became known as the Great White Singing Spirit. That was their name for her, the Great White Singing Spirit. Why on earth would they call her that? Why would they talk amongst themselves and leave quickly? Well, I have heard other people tell their firsthand stories of being someplace in danger, in a war zone or whatever, and angels appeared to the people that were about to kill them, and they turned and they left. Or even with the donkey, was in the Bible, we have the story of Balaam. Was it Balaam and his donkey? And he's hitting the donkey, trying to get the donkey to move forward, and the donkey won't move forward, and he's getting angry at this donkey. And then finally God opened the donkey's mouth so he could speak, and he's like, stop hitting me. And he's like, what? The donkey just spoke. Then he goes, you couldn't see it, but I could see the angel in the road with its sword drawn, ready to kill you, and that's why I wouldn't go forward. So stop hitting me. Right? You guys remember that story in the Bible? If you didn't, now you do. Don't ask me where it is. It's in the Old Testament somewhere. You can look it up. I believe it's Balaam, as in Baalam, Balaam's donkey, I think, if I remember correctly. So I think that's what happened. I think those Indians' eyes were opened to see the angels that were there protecting her, that were activated because she was singing those hymns in praise and worship. So that's in my, and I feel this connection to Polly. Clicking the link, but it just goes nowhere. Yeah, I don't see you coming in. I don't know why. Let me like do invite, copy. Try it again there. I don't know if this is different. You know, I copied that link like when I went into, they call it going into the studio. And then when I'm in the studio, then I click live. And I did that link when I was in the studio, but I wasn't live yet. So maybe, but I just like recopy. I clicked invite and copied the link freshly again. Beautiful story. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, I love that story. There's even like a children's book that was written in the 1800s or something. I don't know, a long time ago. It's like registered in the National Library of Congress, and that is about the Great White Singing Spirit or something. But they didn't know who it was. You know. Hi, Maria. So what happened to Rangel? Keck Rangel? How come he's not here? You're here, but Keck is the one that put that he not Mabel, but Keck is the one that commented on my scheduling. So when I scheduled it, or when I talked about the schedule, like, because you guys know I use the community tab too sometimes to just like put some quick information or something. So I do use the community tab on my channel. He's sleeping now, but he said to say hi. Okay, that sounds good. You tell him when he wakes up, you can tell him that we all said hi to him. Oh, there's Shelly. Okay, Shelly, are you ready to come on? Ready for me to add you? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Wait. Okay, thumbs up. Okay, add to stream. And there goes a cat.
Hello.
I can stop the screen. It'll be just the two of us here. Here we go.
Just the two of us. Yeah, I was clicking on it and it was just going back to the thing, but it worked this time. So here I am.
Okay. Yay. Yeah.
Fraser.
So do you have a story for us?
Oh, I have to warm up a bit. My tongue needs to get warmed up for this story.
Okay. Because I'm thinking that I can make myself a cup of coffee. But you need to be telling a story while I run and make it. You guys can see me, and I'll be right there in the background.
Well, I need my cohorts up here. Where are my cohorts?
Yeah. Oh, there's Pam says, yay.
Come on, Pam. Come on up. If you got curlers in your hair, we don't care, even though I would care for myself.
Yeah, it's early in the morning there for you guys.
It's not really. There's no excuse for me. I'm just, if I don't have to, be presentable, then I don't. But if I do, I do.
Well, talking about the esoteric stuff and the connection, like with Michael Collins, I'm wondering if you and me, or you and I, or whatever, have some kind of connection, because I think it was 2 nights ago, I was adding songs to my karaoke playlist, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, longer was one of them, and then you just did longer.
Yeah,
And
I just took that one off there. I have to redo it. I was not happy with my longer.
okay. I didn't actually watch. I saw that you did it, but I didn't listen to it yet.
Okay, because I need to redo it. The problem mostly with that is I can't find the background that I like. So it doesn't go, if I only knew how to play an instrument, it would be fabulous. But there's backup
Yeah,
singers that come in. It's like, where'd you guys come from?
yeah.
It's like, whoa, here they are. Doo 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 doo. And so I have to.
I've noticed on some of the songs that if you put, so like if in your search or whatever you put karaoke, Dan Fogelberg, longer, and then you add the word acoustic,
Yeah.
sometimes you find that a really nice, like someone playing the guitar or whatever, some kind of really
Yeah.
nice acoustic arrangement.
Yeah. I do that a lot. I like the acoustic ones. I like it to be a little different.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
it is going to be different because, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not Shaka Khan.
I know. There was
I do
one
not,
that,
nor do I pretend to be.
yeah, there was one that it was just too fast. It was like, no, that's not the right tempo. I don't know if it was like you're so vain, maybe, because that's kind of a that's an upbeat song, you know.
I've tried that one. I mean, I haven't put it out there, but I tried to do that one.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
I need to find like the right pitch. I really never knew what I am, what note. I just go with usually an A. It's like somebody said, I think you're an A. And I was like,
yeah.
okay. So I'm like karaoke songs in the key of A. But
Right,
that's
right,
not always
right.
true. I don't know what I am. I really don't. I know how to split sounds. I
Yeah,
can go by my ear, but as far as notes, I don't know how to do that.
yeah.
Sorry.
There was something. One of the songs I was looking for was, and I don't remember which key it was, but either I would have had to sing it real low, or like it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect key for you.
Right. Well, they do that. I mean, there's lower ones. They call it the female key, which I do a lot.
Yeah.
And they'll be like higher +3. Sometimes I'm higher, but I don't know how. I didn't know
Yeah.
I didn't even know I could go high.
Ah. Oh, you have such a
I've
beautiful voice as a soprano. It's so
never really,
unlike my voice.
well, I never really listened to my voice before, until I
Uh,
actually sang right into my microphone. And I was
uh,
making parodies I was having so much fun doing
uh,
parodies. And I was just being funny and kind of country-like and
uh,
all for fun. And then I got into it. It was like, first I started taking some pictures, and then
Excellent.
I started
Well,
singing.
Maria says it's been raining all morning, typical English weather. How's your weather in Florida? Or
It's
I don't know, East
it's
Coast. Yeah,
pretty,
Florida.
yeah, it's pretty darn awesome today. It's going to be 74 degrees and it's sunny, but it's going to be 44 degrees in the morning. We could all freeze to death.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's getting down there.
But
Wow.
it gives us an excuse to wear something different.
Yeah. It's 77 right now here in Phnom Penh. It is raining right now. It's not a storm. It's just a steady, it's more than a sprinkle. It's steady drops, but
Yeah.
it's not pouring. It's not pouring. It's just steady.
A nice stream of rain to sing. Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain.
Yeah.
I love Dan Vogel.
Listen to the rhythm of the
I love that.
falling rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Dan
Andy
Vogel
said he bent down to ground level, working on the yard. Light saw. Oh, wait, is that supposed to be two words? Light saw a small black figure running, only 3 inches tall, all black, looked like a Tasmanian devil cartoon, crooked knees, maybe a wingless bat. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Wingless bat. Yeah, why not? And it was running away. Oh my gosh, how scary that would be. Okay, who
Very.
else has like creature features?
Well, I don't know if I guess I never have told you this story, but
Okay,
And I
tell
did
us the story. I want to
okay,
make sure my speaker-
back when I was in elementary school, probably
I'm gonna make my coffee.
probably
Elementary
like
school.
7 years old. My mom babysat a girl, Robin was her name. Anyway, and my brother and I we were playing hide and seek, and my brother and I went into our garage, and it was, probably noon, whatever. It was daylight, but we had nothing in our garage but a garbage can that had dog food in it, and maybe, I mean, it was like it was meticulous. There's nothing in there, and also no windows. So anyway, to get back up. But anyway, so my brother and I went into our station wagon, and he went in the front seat, and I went in the back seat. And I think I was on the here. He was here, and I was here. And anyway, we were just in there hiding from her. And we both, well, I looked up, and coming from where the wall would be, out of pitch blackness, was an outline, which at my age looked like an outline of Frankenstein. But it was just like I would say like a neon green or a light that was the outline of a figure, and it was huge, and it was coming right for us. Here was the car, here's the car, and then it was coming right here. And I guess I screamed. My brother said I screamed because I don't remember. I was like, oh, I saw this thing coming at me, and somehow I scooched because there was only like I must not have been able to get out this way, but somehow I scooched over to show my bravery here to where it was. And when I opened my door, it would have hit it because I was opening that door to get out of there. And when I opened it, it would have hit the thing because it was at that point. And then when I did open the door and turn, my brother had already gotten out of our car and had lifted the garage open, and it was light in there, and there was nothing in there. And we went screaming. We were terrified, screaming, and we went running inside to tell my mom, and she was reading a book. She was like, "Oh, those things can happen," and I was like, I wanted her to say it was a trick here, No, it was, and it was like, oh, she's like nothing, and I was like, but because we both saw it, we never will forget it, and we were terrified
Yeah.
as kids. The house was brand new. We were always scared in that house, not because of that, even before that. Like he would I don't even know where we had minds to think of the devil and all that, but he saw Shadow of the Devil. There was a window way above his bedroom. It was a kind of really modern house back in the 70s. Anyway, there was this upper window, and he swore there were devil horns looking at him. I saw, when you're a kid, you don't know. You could talk yourself like maybe it was a dream because I remember looking out my window and I used to sleep with blankets on top of me, stuffed animals, everything, and like have this much room just to breathe. It was terrifying, but I looked out my window one night and I had sheer curtains and my room was way off the ground. Nobody could have stood below it, but it looked like I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, but it was like a kid, and it was like as if it were bouncing on a trampoline. I couldn't see the trampoline, but I saw like her come up and down, and I went back under the covers, prayed to God. I always knew God was more powerful than the devil. Dear God, help me. I fell asleep. And who knows if that was a dream or not? But because of my brother and I both saw the thing in the garage in the daylight, described it to a T. There's no denying that one. And that's that story. Next. That was scary though. Oh, but we were so scared as kids. I used to pray, dear God. I hated going to bed at night. I was so scared. I tried to go to bed early so I could still hear my parents up and everybody up. But and in those days, my mom, it was, I don't know if it was the time, but it was like, oh no, everybody needs to sleep in their own rooms, lights out, and so I couldn't even keep the light on in my room. But it was,
Oh my goodness.
I was terrified. My mom now is like, I don't know why I did that. You guys should have like share whatever. And then, well, oh my gosh, one night I had I wouldn't, I don't know, I was scared, and I had my dad, my stepdad. He was probably getting pissed off at this time because, dear God, he just wanted to go to bed. So he got up and he was like, I'm going to take you all the way. I'm taking you in every room in this house. And I thought to myself, okay, I know where this is going. So he took me to every room in the house to show me there was nothing there. And then when he was finally done with his walkthrough of the house, I said, but they're invisible. And he was like, oh my God. But it was true. I could have stopped him at the beginning, like, dude, they're not going to say, hey, here I am. No, they're going to wait and mess with me when you go back to bed. But anyway, finally, after years of therapy, no, I'm just kidding. After years of praying, dear God, dear Jesus, help me. I mean, it stopped after a while. I mean, I got over it. But we also moved away from that house, so there you go. But
yeah, Pam commented
out there, so I've seen
yeah.
it.
Pam was asking if maybe the house was haunted.
Yeah, I mean, it was my parents. It was a brand new house. I mean, it was brand new. They had it built. We were the first people to live there. But, you know, the ground could have had what it was built on, or maybe just the energy of children. Because I think, like my mom was trying to say, well, children. It's like, maybe it was our energy. Maybe it was because we were trying to hide from Robin in the garage. I don't know. But we saw it. We did not want to see it. And we had wished to God they would have made up a story to tell us, like, oh, that was just us doing that. We had a projector screen. No, there was nothing. There was no explanation. It was what we saw, and it was not of this. It was not of this world.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But I have also prayed. You know, you kind of want to see things sometimes, but I prayed my little heart out that I don't want to see anything. So don't be showing me nothing. I don't want to see it because I'm scared.
I know.
So, I mean, if I'm not going to be scared, fine, but I'm scared. I don't want to be scared anymore. That was horrible.
That's true.
There's no fun to be scared.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's no fear. God, there's a Bible verse about fear, and like
that's right.
He dispels the fear.
That's right. Get out of my house. Go away.
Yeah.
If you're here, but no, I don't want to see it. I don't.
Yeah.
And if a loved one can come back and visit you, they know not to come see me because they're going to scare the crap out of me, and that would not be cool. So I'll wait to see you later. We'll catch up later.
Yeah.
But please don't be coming to see me now.
Yeah. Well, we have to welcome Sense Amelia. She joined us.
Oh, hey, Sense Amelia. I'd like to have some Sense Amelia with you.
Yeah, this is right up your alley, paranormal and esoteric. Sixth Sense. Yeah. What do you guys think of the movie The Sixth Sense? Has everybody seen it?
Yeah, I loved it. It was good.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything about the ending if there's anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Right. Meanwhile, Maria says she grew up in a haunted house, and I believe the same entity is manifested here in my current house twice. No way! It followed you? Oh,
you see, yeah, that's scary. I mean, my husband he's always seeing stuff, and I felt okay. So here, I don't want to interrupt anybody, but there's been times when I'm just sitting. I would just be sitting at home. There's no dog, there's no cat, and something kind of bumps the back of my chair, and it's like, what was things that make you go, but that doesn't scare me. But it would if I was watching a horror movie by myself in the middle of the woods. I'd be like, but you know what? You can't. I mean, people. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess you can't really protect yourself from a ghost if you can't see it. I mean, God protects us, but I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't see
yeah.
We don't know where you are.
Right. That's true of any tactical thing. If you can't see the enemy, then how can you defend yourself? Right. Yeah. That's like common sense. As for the movie The Sixth Sense, I'll say this without spoiling anything, that every clue that was there that would like reveal what's revealed in the end, I picked up on every one of those clues and thought that they were mistakes.
Oh, so you see the foreshadowing. I didn't see it at all. Now I know the foreshadowing.
It's like so much of the filmmaking, I'm like, oh, well, the assistant director didn't do their job very well because they should have done this or whatever. I'm thinking like that they were making movie mistakes.
Right.
And I caught every single friggin' one of them thinking it was a mistake, not realizing that those were the clues.
Right. See, you were very intuitive on that stuff. I
Uh,
did. It just went right over my head. I think
yeah,
it took me like 3 times to see that movie to really totally appreciate it all. But I could watch it again right now.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
very eclectic movie taste, so I was watching Steel Magnolias yesterday.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen that.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was so funny and sad at the end. It was like Sally. I was my mom was over. Had the kids, and I said, "Now I've seen this movie so many times. Yeah, I don't cry anymore at the end. But dang it, Sally Fields, she got me again. I had the little
Oh,
tear
she's
just. I was like, well, I
awesome.
guess she got me. I don't know if she won an Emmy for that, but she should have. That
She
was
had
good.
to have been at least
Emmy,
nominated. Yeah,
Oscar. I don't know. She should have won an
yeah.
award for that one though.
To
That
look
was
it up.
good.
Maria said that she had the best childhood. Her family and their part of Essex was lovely to grow up in, but she was terrified a lot.
See, me too. I had a good childhood too, but scared at night to go to bed. So I want to hear
So
your story. I want to hear Maria's story.
yeah, I mean,
Tell us her
and
story. Please come up here, someone else, to talk. Just
yeah,
ask.
someone else should need. Yeah, that anyone's welcome. Um, she did add that I believe my visions and my knowing things before they happen is the way that she was protected from the entity. Good, good. And she was the one who always confronted it while her family ran away or pretended they just didn't see it or hear
Yeah,
it. They just pretended they didn't see it, but she would confront it. Wow, that's bold. That's
that's like,
bold.
what are you doing? Leave me alone. Hello.
Yeah. There's only one time that comes to mind anyway that where like I confronted an entity. Um, I only had my daughter was a baby, like not even walking yet. She was like still sleeping in the crib. But we went to my mom's house, and um, the I was in my old bedroom that I grew up in. So there was a single bed, and at the foot of the bed we had like a playpen that we put my daughter inside the playpen to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's the middle of the night, and I wake up from a nightmare kind of thing. Well, let me say what my entire life, how I wake up from nightmares. If I have a nightmare, the moment I wake up, I like play possum. So I'm awake, but it's like if I pretend I'm asleep, it won't attack me. Right.
Good.
But then I'll go, so I'm pretending I'm asleep and I'm, Mom, Mom, like that. That is my normal reaction to a real nightmare. But what happened was I woke up, I opened my eyes, and there was like a shadow of like tentacles,
Ew.
it was just blackness, and it was like falling down and these tentacle things, and something in my heart knew it was after my daughter. It wasn't after me, it was after my daughter. And I immediately put both of my hands up like this. So I'm in the bed and I put my hands up, although of course it's not physical, but that was my reaction wasn't, Mom, it was putting my hands up. So there was like something real happening. And then I just said the name, I just go one word, I said, Jesus. And I jumped out of the bed and flicked the light on, and it was gone.
Oh man, that's scary. So what? You could have prevented something horrifying.
Yeah, yeah. Then and so she mentioned confronting an entity. That's the closest I've come to it. And I didn't have to say any kind of long prayer or any kind of exorcism kind of thing or whatever. Just
You
one
got
name,
you got
Jesus.
straight, you got straight to the point.
Yeah, I didn't have time for anything else.
La, 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 la. Jesus,
Yeah,
take me. Like when I
exactly.
was having that time I hit the blizzard when I was cruising right along at 85 miles an hour and had hit the ice. I was like, oh dear God, help me. That's just all I can say.
So, Pam, are you going to watch The Sixth Sense or Steel Magnolias? I think you're talking that you're going to watch The Sixth Sense today. So we're not going to.
Steel Magnolias is free on YouTube right now. It popped up, so I've watched it probably 2 times. Not the whole, here and
Yeah,
there.
but you never know how long until they figure it out and then they strike it down.
Right. They have some up free for a while and then they'll charge for it later. Like when it's I don't know, when it's the season for it to be in, they'll charge you. Like all the Christmas movies.
Andy has a story. He woke up, got out of bed, went to the front room, had a hunch, just a hunch, that someone was there. And so out loud, he said, "I'm going to get you." And he went to the lamp and reached to turn it on as a hand, gentle, covered his hand. And then he jumped back. And then he woke up and he was still in bed.
Ooh.
Wow. So like you think you had an out-of-body experience kind of thing? I wonder. That's weird.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Creepy. That's what we're all about.
When the story first started, he said, "I woke up, got out of bed, dragged a comb across my head." That's what came to my mind. Something like that. I don't know the words, but like I said, everything's a dang song to me. I can't stop it.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
No. Yeah. There's a few out there like me.
So Pam is going to watch The Sixth Sense. Is the movie she's going to watch today. So no spoilers. No spoilers.
I do love the actress that plays in that movie. I can't
Bruce
think of her
Willis.
name.
Bruce Willis and
the actress, the blonde that plays the mom, or she may be brown hair in this movie.
Oh, I can't picture her. I know Haley Joel Osment is the.
I can't. I don't know if you ever saw the series on Showtime or whatever it was, U.S. of Tara. That was.
I didn't see it.
It was crazy. But yeah, I can't think of her name. But she's actually British. But she's in all kinds of stuff where she does. Or I don't know if she's British, English, whatever. She's from somewhere that talks like this, I believe.
Yeah, I cannot picture her face, so I don't remember.
But she doesn't play that in this movie.
Oh, Andy's gonna watch it too. Okay, and Amelia says that she thinks it came out in 1999. Something like that. I was in college. I went back to school in my 30s, and it was 98 to 2003, and I definitely saw it during that period. I'll say this, that toward the end of the movie, there was a collective gasp in the entire theater where everyone just sucked in the air, going, "Oh," like that. At the same moment, like the whole
back in the good old movie days.
Yeah, but I won't say what happens or anything, because you guys have to experience it for yourself. Oh, and Andy also, because you can't see the comments, right?
I can't see anybody's comments, so that's why I'm like, come up here and talk to me.
Yeah, so that's why I'm reading them all for you.
You have to do it dramatically. I need you need to act it out.
So Andy said that the United States of Tara was a great show.
Yes, I love that show. What a hoot and holler. She's like, it's been a while since I've seen it. She has different personalities. That's it. Oh my God. But anyway, when you watch The Sixth Sense, that lady, you got to watch that. Well, you don't got to, but you should watch that series sometime. You could binge watch it, U.S. of Tara. Okay. And it's quite something, but.
Is it on Netflix?
I think it might have been Showtime or something at the time. It's been a long time. It was
sometimes when they're older, then Netflix will pick them up.
It was on the same thing that had Nurse Jackie, the same era as Nurse Jackie. Did you see Nurse Jackie? Did you see?
I remember of it. You know what I'm watching? I'm in right now is Better Call Saul.
What was that?
Better Call Saul. I guess it's a spinoff of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but it sounds familiar. Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul right now. Not Paul. Yeah. Don't be calling Paul. Paul's not going to know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, what a great accent. So Maria says we had an alarm clock that kept going off at random times when we were waking up, when they were walking up or down the stairs. It was really loud and it was not set to go off at those times.
Weird. I think I would go outside and take that alarm clock and take a pan to it and break it.
Yeah.
But then what if it still went off?
That's what they did. She says they took the batteries out and it happened again. So they threw it in the bin. They threw it out. That was it.
Good. Now that's using your noggin. That's using your sixth sense.
Oh, Pam also likes the United States of Tara.
Yeah.
And Amelia says her smoke alarms turn on and off by themselves.
Oh, screw that.
And Maria's going to look up the show.
If you have high ceilings, good God, you have to get a broom out. I don't have high ones, but my mom did at her house. And they go, they go off in the middle of the night, never during the day. And it's terrifying to hear that. That's horrible. And they put them so high you can't get to them. And they're all connected to one another. Oh, whatever. It's like someone just
like a smart house. Pam mentioned, back to movies and that collective gasp, that it happened in Carrie too. That all of the employees at the theater would get into the back of the theater to watch everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was too young to go to that one. I mean, I would have. Yeah. I don't think I could get in. They were where I came from at the movies back then. They were like crazy. They wanted to see your ID. And I guess I looked really young.
Wow. I got away with everything. Nobody ever I could get into R-rated movies. I was 12 and I could get into R-rated movies.
Yeah, they were like Nazis where I lived. It was like, nope, unless your parents took you in. And I did get to see, what was it? I did see Endless Love, but it was the other one I'm thinking about.
Was that Brooke Shields?
Blue Lagoon. I didn't see that one.
I met the boy, whoever plays the boy. Yeah, I met him in Hollywood. And it was at an event. I'm not going to go into all that, but we met, and so we started chatting because we were both waiting for something, and so we were at the same little cocktail table, and we were chatting. And I said, hope you don't take this the wrong way, but it's just in my head. I look at you, and I think you're older. Not bad. You don't look old, but you're older. And then that makes me think, well, I must look older too. And he took it in the good, we were both laughing about it and everything. It was really nice. But yeah, that was funny.
I thought you were going to say, when I look at you, I see a really tan body and wearing some white little number.
Takes me right back.
That's what I think about.
Yeah.
That was
Andy said that his wife loved Nurse Jackie, and he did too.
I love that. The big C, the big C as in the letter C. Cancer. Yeah. That was good. That was about
the show was about it. Oh, okay.
Right. I mean, the lady had it. The big C was about cancer, but it was not depressing or anything. Not that I remember. I don't really like watching depressing things.
Yeah. And Pam's laughing at
I need some comedy, and I mean, I do like scary to watch some scary things, not slasher, ghostly scary, that kind of scary, but I don't want to see people getting hacked up. That does nothing for me. I can't look at it.
When I was younger, I mean, Halloween, the original Friday the 13th, I couldn't get enough of it. If it was a horror movie, I was there.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, but by the time it was say the second or third, I'd kind of grown out of it, and I wasn't interested in seeing horror movies anymore. Yeah. But let's see, Maria has more. Okay, things like keys and wallets, purses and books that they were reading would disappear and sometimes turned up again weeks later in places that they already looked at least 20 times. And that's how it started.
Hiding things and then making everybody accuse each other of putting it somewhere, probably to start chaos.
Well, Amelia was agreeing with you about the smoke alarms and the high ceilings, but she says they turn themselves off.
Horrible.
Yeah. After you get something to fan away all the smoke from your burnt toast, right?
There's not, yeah, well, there's not even any burnt toast going on. They just go off when the battery dies or something.
Oh, well, yeah. If the battery's getting low or something, then they start beeping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. It's like, was that a bird? Because around here, it sounds all the same. Because I'll hear these birds make a lot of noise.
And then Amelia says that her house has a ghostie, and it has a name. It's named Thomas, and he doesn't visit so much now. And his wife passed away and is buried next to him now. She bought the house from his wife.
So you think it's Thomas? Are you sure it's Thomas?
And he died. He had died in the house, so he. So maybe while his wife was still alive, he was kind of looking for her, wanting to be with her. And even though she sold the house, he was still kind of there looking for her, maybe. But then once she died and they were rejoined together, then he stopped coming around.
Let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, because he did die in the house. My grandparents, they both died. I mean, naturally. You know, we kind of had the hospice and everything like that. And they both died in the same house.
Yeah.
And then Andy says, yeah, Maria, as a handyman repairing things, a tool or a screw would just not be there. And he hadn't moved. And but then usually he does find them after a very exhaustive search.
Yeah, I'm always doing that. And I don't know if it's me or someone's messing with me, but I will say, quit messing with me. Lady, where is it? Damn it, I just looked there 5 times. I've done that. Looked and then it's like magically.
I had a moment. It was this morning, or it was either this morning or yesterday, and I thought, this is just like when you're looking for your glasses and they're on your head. But it was something different.
Looking for your phone and
it's in your hand, you know.
You're on it. I'm looking everywhere for my phone.
Yeah.
That's because we're
I wish I could remember what it was, but I was like looking all over for something, and then it was like right on me. I was just like, dumb.
Oh,
yeah. But Amelia says there's no smoke. It just they're new smoke alarms, new batteries, and they'll just randomly go off. And Maria adds that the taps were left running, and at first we blamed they would blame themselves and each other. It's like, oh, you left the water running again, right? But then it happened too often to the point that they knew something was wrong. Man, it's friggin' Amityville Horror or something for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They want to cause you to fight with each other because it's like you had to have left that on. Damn you! Yeah, blaming the ghost again. Right.
Yeah.
But
instead of gaslighting, it should be called ghosting. Should be referring to like stirring up drama, instead of like you disappear. Ghosting is like you just completely erase somebody off of all your social media, right? That's ghosting.
Right.
But it should mean this. This is what real ghosting is. They stir up drama.
Right. They do. They want you to be mad. Then they can use the energy, perhaps.
Now, I don't know about the house I'm living in now. I don't experience anything, but I know that there's Cambodia. You know how the Irish have that second sight? You know, not every Irish person, but there's like
I'm from Ireland, don't you know?
Yes, and so there's a lot of second sight going on with the Irish, right? Well, the Cambodians, I think they also have a second. They're very prone to being on that frequency where they can see things. And my cleaner that I had, she's on maternity leave now, but she had a split shift, so because basically she was my pet nanny, not necessarily my cleaner.
Right. She had to make sure the cat didn't kill the other cat.
Right. That's when when I first got her. But then the cat grew up and it wasn't a problem anymore. But so she was in charge of feeding them in the morning and in the evening. So she had a split shift. She'd come for 2 hours in the morning and then 2 hours in the afternoon. Right. Or like from 4 to 6. Right. Well, every time I'd come home, she'd always have the lights on upstairs. And in one particular, like there's a spare room that I've got a lot of boxes in, and I put the kitty litter boxes in there too, right? Because nobody's sleeping in there or whatever. It makes it, that's their bathroom. They've got a whole room for their bathroom, right? And she'd always have the light on in that room. So sometimes in my bedroom, she'd have it on. Sometimes she'd have the stairs on, but she'd always have that light on in that room. And it's like I didn't dare ask her. But I got the feeling that she could see something. Yeah. And that's why she always needed to turn that light on.
Oh, or maybe she just did it subconsciously or unconsciously or whatever word I'm looking for.
I don't know. But it was always that room, you know. And so that was weird. You know, that was really weird. But I didn't ask her. I because if there is something,
you should have looked at it. You should have said, "Oh, you saw the ghost too, huh?"
Yeah, no. I don't want to know about it because it's not. If there is, it's not bothering me. So,
right, you don't, out of sight, out of mind, don't you know?
Yep. Amelia said that Thomas, her ghost Thomas, didn't like her to go in his tool shed. That was his tinkering space. Ooh. And so she had a talk with him, and he's okay now. And she took all of his old hand tools and restored them, and he liked it, and that made him happy. He liked that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. And oh, go ahead.
I just said I would hope so. That was a very nice thing to do.
Yeah. And so Pam mentioned that Cambodia has very sacred sites like Angkor Wat. Yes. If you know ley lines, spelled like that, most of you probably already know, but they're spelled like this. Ley lines are kind of the Earth's chakra lines. And there's definitely a ley line coming through Cambodia. Maria says the entire family was sitting in the living room watching Doctor Who, and the other side of the wall had banging sounds or like very heavy boots walking down the stairs that never got to the bottom. Oh. Maria, it's never ending. Oh my gosh. You could have a whole show just on your house, you know.
When I was a kid at that one house, when I would go to sleep with all the covers over my head, so hot, this much room just to breathe a little, I'd be like, I could hear, but I would, whether I heard him or not, I could hear him I could hear footsteps. And my room was the first room that you would come to as if a ghost would care. It was like the front door was like so, but as a kid, you know, it's like my room. I was terrible. I'm still mad. I'm still pissed off at my mom. I'm like, Mom, that was terrible. Why couldn't I just had the, you know? She's like, I'm sorry. And of course, her door was shut.
Yeah.
Every door was shut. It's like,
goodness. Well, Maria said that when the boots were coming down the stairs and never ending, that her dad would say, well, come on in then.
Come on in, either take your boots off or sit down and get out.
Sit down, sit for a spell.
They were like stuck in I don't know.
Stuck in motion, yeah. So he tried to make a joke of it. That's how
they were in that pattern of like going down the stairs forever. Oh no, that's kind of.
That would be hell. That's
so kind of hellish, like just continually walking down the stairs.
And never ending, like an escalator. Like when you're if you try to walk the wrong direction on an escalator and you kind of you get that pace and you just stay in the same.
Yeah. I guess going down and not getting anywhere is better than having to keep walking up.
Yeah, well, it's better than going down and ending up in hell. At least you're still on the stairs.
Although, a few years ago, there's this tower in Iowa, it's an old weather tower or something, but you climb way up and you can see the whole forest around you. And I did it like after many years of not doing it. I went back and I had to climb the tower, so it was fine. made it up just fine, and I made it down. And when I got to the very bottom, my legs literally would not move. It was the weirdest damn thing I experienced in my life. They would not go. And I was
They just seized
I
up.
was embarrassed, but they would not move. I told my husband, I'm like, they're not, I can't move. I cannot walk in to carry me. It was
Right.
10 to 15 minutes before I had use of my leg. That was weird. I
Wow.
don't know what that was about, but
Yeah.
it never happened again.
Yeah.
That
Well,
was weird.
Amelia found Thomas's old pocket knife,
Oh,
and it was from the 1930s. She says it's lovely, it feels lovely, and she carries it in her purse.
oh, cool. See, you're using it again. That should make him happy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
using something that someone cherished, and you're taking
Yeah.
care of it instead of just throwing it away like it's trash.
Yeah. Yeah. She
And
said
it's
she said she
there.
had very
Uh,
dark entities and paralysis dreams, um, and that they're freaking horrible.
oh,
And
yeah.
Maria
Quicksand.
said, yeah, Maria
Like,
says it's a real, it was definitely a haunted house, no doubt. And that she hated mirrors because she always says that shadows out of the corner of her eye, yeah, wouldn't have one in her bedroom. And even now, they don't put mirrors in their bedrooms.
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I've
I
never seen.
remember when
I
I
see
was
things out
around,
of the corner of my eye. Sometimes they're explainable. It's like,
well,
oh, that. Yeah.
that fairy
And
was
sometimes
like,
it's like, hmm.
well, and Pam sometimes gets the orbs. I
Yeah,
think, I think there have been a few times, not that often, where the only way I could have described it was that Star Trek episode when they had those little furry ball things.
yeah,
It was like you just catch a glimpse in that peripheral vision of that like furry ball thing, which
yeah,
we also call an orb or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
experience that. But I asked my students that there's in Cambodia there's a folklore of, it's kind of like a vampire. It's a female, but it's only the head. There's no body, but all of the entrails are hanging from the head, right? So like this, sometimes it's the spine and the like esophagus and the your intestines and stuff. The head, all of that still attached to the head, and the head flies through the air with all of the entrails and stuff hanging, and it goes looking as a vampire, right? And in particular, it wants pregnant
Is that
women's
a
babies.
banshee? Is that the same as a banshee?
Interesting. I think a banshee's like whole though, and it just screams,
Okay.
right? It's like the death
I
scream.
can't. I can't Google it right now, or I was like, "What's a banshee?"
Yeah. If if
Oh,
anybody, oh, tribbles. Andy knew that those little furry things were called tribbles.
oh, yeah.
Um,
My brother used to watch that show every day after school with soda cracker. Or we call them soda crackers, saltines, and his Coke, and we watched Star Trek.
Yeah. So here's how you spell app. You don't really say the R. You say it's like a phone app or something. You say it the same way. And so if you search app Cambodian folklore, you'll see like horror movies and stuff that have been made about them. Anyway, I was doing a radio show on the subject of vampires, and so I wanted to include the Cambodian legend, and
Right.
so I interviewed some people, right, and asked if they'd. And some people have said, "Yeah, I've seen it." And so I asked my class, because I do this group tutoring on Monday nights. So yesterday was tutoring, and I asked them. I'm like, "Okay, has anybody seen an app?" Because what I do, I go like this, like I do that.
Oh yeah.
Because if you say app, it sounds like a phone app. So I go app like that. And they all busted up laughing. I said, okay, who's seen one? Only one girl admitted to seeing one. She said, but she didn't see the like whole face. It was like a green light. She said her story was that she was young. She was in the countryside. She was with her girlfriend, and they were both riding bicycles. And they went past an abandoned house. She didn't know the word abandoned. She said empty house, right? But so I guess there was this old abandoned house. I didn't ask her if it had the reputation of being haunted, but it was abandoned. And they saw the green light go into it. And so they dropped their bikes and ran. And the next morning they came back with like all the villagers came to try and figure out like what they might have seen. So that was her story. That was an app. Now, then I asked, okay, you guys haven't seen an app, but your aunts and your uncles and your grandmas and your grandpas, have they told the story of seeing an app? And this was right at the end of class. So I gave them the assignment to write down the story. And then
that's good.
On our next class, we'll read them.
That's good. And they will talk to their families again.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. So, okay, I got to catch up on some comments here. Also this is Maria, the haunted house in England. Also in that room, it was 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and they heard a big bang from upstairs, and she was frozen. This is the room with the mirrors or something. Oh, no. Okay, wait, I missed. There's a previous comment. Okay. Her eldest son had 2 different girlfriends from 2 different time periods in the same bedroom in the current house that she's living in. Both refused to stay in that room because they would wake up paralyzed with an entity assaulting them. Oh, that's incubus. I mean, if it's the rape, it's incubus. I don't know if you're supposed to say that or not on YouTube. Rape. Yeah.
That's the name of a band.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incubus.
Figures. Oh, incubus. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
They're a Christian band, I think.
No, but a heavy metal. They wouldn't be Christian because it's sex with the sex with the demon.
My stepson was their roadie, so I don't know. Maybe it was another group that was
Christian. Striper. Christian heavy metal was Striper.
Incubus was one of them for sure.
But you know what? Striper back in the 80s, maybe 80s or early 90s, went on a tour called the Heaven and Hell Tour. So it was a heavy metal concert tour that had the evil heavy metal and the Striper, the godly, the Christian heavy metal.
Yeah.
So it could be that tour. Right? I don't know. Anyway, so these girls that were being assaulted by entities happened at 2:00 in the afternoon, I guess. Or also in that same room. She was luckily on Discord with her Warcraft guild at the time, and the feeling coming from upstairs was pure evil. Is this the same childhood house, or this is the second house that they followed you to? Oh, Maria, I'm like feeling for you here. That's why she was frozen. It took till 2 a.m. that she felt okay to go upstairs. Amelia says in the Maori culture, that's New Zealand, the spiritual world coexists alongside the physical world through the ancestors. I'd buy that. I have a necklace, the Maori culture has a very spiritual greenstone. Looks like jade, but it's not jade, it's greenstone. And I went to the movie premiere of Well Rider. And so one of the gifts that they gave everybody was a necklace with the greenstone. I'm not sure where it is. I have to look and find it. When Maria finally went upstairs, the bedroom door was slightly ajar. She dived under the covers in her room, asked Jesus for protection. The next thing she knew, it was morning. See, Jesus.
Okay, so I think the PM and the AM were getting mixed up. The girls were getting messed with in the
afternoon. Something happened at 2 in the afternoon, and then it took until 2 a.m. for her to feel safe to go upstairs. So it took 12 hours for her to be able to go upstairs. At least that's what I'm understanding.
I would
it's
go
all
upstairs in the daylight.
Maria, you need to just come up on panel and tell the
Yeah,
story.
I would go upstairs when the sun was out, not at 2 a.m., but that's just me.
Yeah.
But maybe she had like enough at this point. Like, damn it, I need to get up to my room.
Yeah. And
Sometimes it's like, screw it, I gotta go. It's like,
so there's more. There's more.
do tell.
Okay, when she went into the room, the 6 storage boxes had been scattered all over the floor. Some with lids on, some open. Some of the contents were arranged in a circle on the floor.
Hell no. That's when I'm running out the damn door. And no.
Maria.
No. I ain't playing that game. In a certain no. I'm leaving. Okay, what happened next?
Okay, yeah. There's some more. First, Pam really thinks that's an absolutely great assignment with the class. I'll fill you in on, I'll collect them. I'll collect their stories and then I can read them to you out, next Tuesday. Okay, so Maria's story continues. She smudged every cupboard, nook, and cranny of the house and garden after that one. Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, smudging is when you burn sage and the smoke is like incense. It
Okay.
it cleanses.
Not to interrupt, but I've seen the sage to buy. And what does it smell like? Is it gonna stink up your house or does it smell good?
It smells a lot, very similar to pot.
Oh, well, that's pot,
but it's similar.
Okay,
yeah.
So it does. Okay, I didn't know because I've never gotten out the sage. I've never had to get to that resort. I mean, I didn't know to. So
yeah.
As a kid, I wasn't allowed to play with matches. But yeah, go ahead. So she got the sage. Smudged.
Yeah, she smudged every cupboard and nook and cranny of the house and the garden. Yeah, and then Andy says Incubus is a great band. And I like Stryper. I went to a couple of Stryper concerts.
I don't know. I would know it if I heard it, but I'm not great with knowing all the names of bands and all that, unless they're like Def Leppard and Foreigner and
Yeah. Well, see, that was in the Christian music was like a parallel universe to the.
I saw Amy Grant back in high school before she was. It was like when she was talking at the time, it was back in the 80s, and she was like, they told me I wasn't big enough for the stadium, but so she was actually in high school, but it was like 6 months after that, she was like way up there.
Big, yeah. Her album, or at least one of her albums was one of the first so I discovered Christian music in about 1981, and the person who told me about it said go to a Christian bookstore. And I got Second Chapter of Acts, Randy Stonehill, Phil Kagi, Keith Green. Well, he gave me Keith Green.
I saw him too.
Oh man, that'd be amazing. Oh, that had to be and Amy Grant. But
it was a small venue. It was a small venue for Keith. What was his name again? I knew it when you said it.
Keith Green.
Yeah.
Keith Green.
It was really good. I remember it.
He died in an airplane accident, I think it was. His wife still carries on ministry.
Oh,
and Mike, did you ever see the comedian Mike Warnke?
Not that I know of. I may have, I just don't know his name.
Mike Warnke, that's how you spell his name. I'm putting these in here if anybody cares, they can look these things up. He was a comedian, but there was controversy that maybe he was lying and making everything up, but I don't think so. And he was involved in a coven, at the least a coven, some form of Satanism, but he got delivered from it and became Christian. And so he would always do his comedy, but then he would give his testimony at the end of his concerts. Yeah, but his comedy was absolutely hilarious. Let's see. Amelia asks, have you had a room or part of the house that's always freezing? The dog's hackles go up and they won't go in there. No. Yeah, that can happen. It can happen. I can't think of a specific time. Oh, Andy says Whale Rider was an awesome flick. Maria, all of the entities here now are really lovely and warm. We even had our little black cat, Poppy, who was 19 when she crossed the Rainbow Bridge, came and visit. Oh, that's so sweet.
I believe that pets come and visit. Or at least
Yeah.
I believe it, because the other pets, like if a pet
Yeah.
has just died and it comes back and it sees the other pet. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
I
like
think Tigger came and
it's like it's reaching
helped
up.
me. Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you this story because one popped into my head.
Okay.
It's a good story. So I used to clean house for this older couple, and he was doing my ancestry. Was on ancestry.com, so he was doing
Mhm.
mine for free basically. And he told me, come back over around 2. We'll look into the ancestry, whatever. So I came over at 2, and
Mhm.
his wife, by the way, she was sickly, so she wasn't like mobile running around. She was basically on the couch always, or in her bed.
Mm.
So, and they had a dog that would always bark and come to the door. Anyway, so I go to the door, I ring the doorbell. A dog comes to the door through the glass. I can see it's like one of those opaque glass, I could see the dog. I know this
Mm.
dog. There's Dixie. And so I thought, okay, but no one else came to the door, let me in, which was really weird. But I thought, okay, I'm not going to ring the doorbell again because I don't want Dixie to freak out. So I went back home, and the guy called me later and like, oh, I'm so sorry I wasn't there. We had a flood at our house. And I was like, well, I came and the dog came to the door. He's like, no, our dog was with us. I'm like, no, I saw the dog. I even took a mental note. I took a mental note not to ring the doorbell again because I saw the damn dog. Okay. So I wouldn't
Wow.
let it go. I wouldn't let it go. He just kept.
But the dog wasn't dead. The dog was just
No,
not there.
they
The
had
dog
had,
was with
they
them.
had what I found out from the lady later is they had 3 of the same dogs. They always named them the same name, and they were always the same breed. But I saw that dog. I saw it through the window, and I took a mental
Oh,
note. And so he was not. He just like, no, it's impossible. We all left. Our house was the toilet had run or whatever.
yeah.
We had to
Mm,
get out.
mm.
I'm like, but your dog, no, it wasn't there. So I just
Wow.
didn't leave them alone about it, and they were just like, go away. It
On
wasn't
a
there.
side note,
But the
Barbara
lady,
Streisand clones her dogs. So she's
oh,
like on the third or fourth generation of cloning of her dogs. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that freaked me
Anyway,
out so much.
so let me
I
get
said,
through. I'm getting
okay,
behind on the comments now.
okay, okay.
So I gotta let's get through some. Okay, so Poppy came to visit. Amelia says that her granddaughter is a direct descendant of the Paikia tribe, which is the same tribe as Well Rider. Wow. Oh, so Amelia, you're the person from New Zealand. Duh. Okay, I forgot. It's been so long since I've seen Amelia anywhere that I forgot she's from New Zealand. Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's nice. I told you the descendants. My great aunt has all had all the genealogy documented, um, and so on my mother's side of the family, there are several lines that go back to the 1600s in America in the 1600s because they came over like with one was a French trapper because remember like the Hudson Bay, maybe they were trapping the furs. He was a trapper in the friggin' 1600s before the Mayflower came over. He was there trapping furs and he married a Mohawk princess and of the turtle clan. So I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of generations back for me. I don't know how much Mohawk blood I have in me, but I have that. But that is so cool that Amelia's granddaughter is the direct descendant of the same tribe as Whale Rider. Pam says she wants to hear the stories of the students, so I will collect those from them and do a show with them. So next Tuesday night's show will be that. Sage, she's talking about the smudging is the sage. Then I wrote Mike Warrenke. It's an herb. Sage is an herb, yes. Maria says, I was sitting on one end of the sofa and her son was on the other end with Rock Paws, the cat. our current cat in between us, when we heard paws running down the stairs and stopping in the living room doorway. Oh my gosh, there's going to be more to that. Amelia said her friend just gave her a new white sage seedling. Ooh, that's cool. I know I don't have any sage like growing here. I need like some sage seeds so I can grow some sage. Lovely chat. Thanks. Yay. Thank you. Thank you, Pam. We knew it was Poppy because Rock Paws lifted his head, blinked, and went back to sleep. Oh, LOL, she said. Pam saying that Amelia's awesome. Oh, Pam had to run. I'm sorry if you left already and didn't hear me reading out your comments, but I did get to them. Maria's telling you, Chalet, that it's that. She goes, oh, that's so cool.
The
for
dog?
something, maybe.
The dog story.
It was only 3 minutes ago that she said it. Yeah. So
yeah,
your last
the dog that I saw through the window,
yeah.
It wasn't there.
Yeah. Everyone's saying bye to Pam. Then Amelia said that her grandfather's great uncle discovered the Northwest Passage, and his name is Robert McClure. So Northwest Passage, is that, I just heard, I follow this guy that goes on cruises all the time. I don't want to go on a cruise, but he's just so entertaining when he's talking about all his information and stuff. And right now they're on they might be on their way back, but the last videos that they're posting, they're in New Zealand. And I'm thinking Northwest Passage. It's not in between the two. There's two main islands.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look up about that. But they mentioned it because there was a cyclone. He said it would be a typhoon though. But I'm sure he said cyclone because all of the announcements were saying cyclone. But cyclones technically are in the Indian Ocean. Typhoons are Pacific Ocean. Hurricanes are Atlantic Ocean. That was the official, but now I think with social media, people just kind of say stuff and it gets the differentiation.
Not just social media, the news people don't even know what the hell is going
exactly
on.
So the differentiation has been lost.
We know more than they know, I'm sorry to say, which is scary sometimes. You're watching the news and you're like, no.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to look into that, Amelia, and the history of Robert McClure discovering the Northwest Passage. I love explorers, stories of explorers and their explorations. Amelia says that you should grow sage next to people because it likes company. That's cool. The Northwest Passage is in America. I'm going to look it up. That's something I don't know about. He was the only survivor. Northwest Passage. So like near Alaska, maybe? Interesting. I'm going to check it out. Maria, animals never really leave us. They come back across the Rainbow Bridge when we need them the most. Absolutely. 100% I believe that. Absolutely. There's a cyclone. Exactly. Amelia says there's a cyclone occurring right now. Exactly. That's the one they were on a cruise ship. And so they got stuck in Wellington because they were supposed to go on an excursion to see the Hobbit land, movie locations. And so they couldn't, but they had to leave the dock. Like it's like airports. Your plane just can't sit there forever. They got another plane coming in, right? So you get problems when the planes can't move. Same thing with the ships. So they were able to get docked down in Christchurch. So I think right now they're in Christchurch.
Oh.
So and then they're gonna, as soon as it's safe, they'll head back to Australia. So he flew from Canada to Australia on New Year's Eve day and had booked a little mini cruise in the harbor to watch the fireworks of the Sydney New Year's Eve. Then they had a day of checking out Sydney, and then they got on their big cruise, spent 2 days getting over to New Zealand. They've been in New Zealand, but the weather hasn't been cooperating, and now there's a cyclone. So then he's got to go back to Sydney. That guy's name is Dan. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Anyway, Amelia also says the presidential desk is made out of the sailing ship. Wow. And so you mean the New Zealand presidential desk is made out of it, or the American presidential desk is made out of it? But it's out of the ship that went through the Northwest Passage that your ancestor, Robert McClure, is the only survivor of, I'm guessing, if I'm reading it. The American president's desk is made out of that wood. Wow. That's so cool. See this shirt I'm wearing? It's kind of like quilted.
Yeah.
It's got this quilted thing, right? And then it goes onto the backside as well.
Uh-huh. Cute.
It's from the 70s.
Whoa, that's cool. It's
like,
vintage, man.
It makes it like 50 years old.
Now that's awesome. Was it yours for this whole time? No.
I think, if I recall, it was my Uncle John's shirt.
Okay, then.
He was he was like 6 or 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
And because he was late for my grandmother, right? So he was a teenager in high school when I was like in elementary school.
So how did you get the shirt?
I think because I was a kid and I took it out of his closet.
Ooh, you were like, I like that. You were like, ooh, I love this. But hey,
if I remember that correct. Oh, and he only survived with the help from the native people. Yeah, native people aren't all that bad. They're usually pretty good, But then, I think sometimes we get this image that all native peoples are one with nature and they lived in harmony with the earth and all this. But you know what? Some of them were really bloody murderers and they had a lot of tribal wars.
Their babies off cliffs and fun stuff.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we romanticize it too much. Not to say that everybody's bad or anything like that. They certainly got a raw deal from American government.
Exactly. You're very golf clap.
Some people like on T-Revs, they'll do the like jazz hands.
Okay. Speaking of that, can we talk about this Idaho 4 thing? Before I read.
But let me finish this thought before we jump to Idaho 4. That in sign language, like for people that are deaf, that really is the sign for clapping, I think.
Jazz.
Yeah, because they're deaf, and if they don't know how loud they're going to be, right? So this way they can clap without making noise. Don't quote me on that. That's an educated guess. Yeah. Oh, wait. Amelia said she's supposed to be cleaning the oven before the contractor arrives in 3 hours.
Oh, I hate cleaning.
Good luck with that.
It's oven cleaner.
No, you see what I did is I put in I got my little speaker. This is a little plug-in speaker thing, right?
Yeah.
This way. So I plugged it. So like when I had wanted to go make the coffee, I plugged it in so I could still hear you telling your story. So Amelia, you need to like plug in a speaker or something so you can listen while you're cleaning the oven.
Yeah, I have my little speaker that I turn on.
Oh, Amelia has a great comment, and this is a good transition to the Idaho 4. Okay, can you still hear?
Yeah, I'm
okay. She says she likes T-Rev, but she cannot stand the blimmin' awful spirit box noise. I hate that noise.
I
I
know.
agree 100%.
I've
I
gotten,
don't watch,
I got used to it to where it put me to sleep.
but I'm a little bit afraid that I don't know what kind of entity is going to be coming through it.
Yeah, I guess I'm, if I had
You
to
know,
be, I guess I get curious. I can't do it long because I don't hear anything. And there's like, huh, huh. And everybody's like, I just heard it say this. And I'm like, but I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And there's sometimes where it's like you can hear something so clearly, but then one person says, "Did it say this?" And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it said that," And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or someone will say something right when they're saying
yeah,
something. It's like,
yeah.
and it's
But
like,
I'll say this about T-Rev. I like big respect that he understands that some people want it and some people don't. So he'll always say, "Okay, this we're gonna
right.
do the spirit box," and so if you don't like it, that's fine. Just go ahead and leave.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
does,
exactly
so does,
that's what it should be.
so
You
does
know,
the 1111 tarot lady.
I've
She does-
caught some of hers, but then I haven't seen it. Doesn't come up in my recommendations that much. I'm
It
not sure
caught
if I
my
actually
attention because
subscribe
I
or
was
not.
I was always seeing 1111, so I just happened to watch it one day. Who
Yeah,
knows? Whatever. But
yeah,
she's been on T-Rev a lot.
yeah. Oh, and Amelia says that she thinks it's scary and dangerous to go to sleep to that subliminal noise. See, that's me
Oh,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
But so she was
I
right.
didn't, I didn't try to go to sleep to it. It just put me to sleep. Like, but I'm surrounded. I
Yeah,
got on the full armor. I have on the full armor of God. I'm really not worried about it anymore.
yeah,
But
yeah,
talk to me about midnight when something starts banging the wall. Then I might be like,
yeah.
Jesus, which I am anyway.
Okay,
But
so start us off. What do you want to? I'm gonna add some more hot water to my coffee because it got cold, and so start us off on Idaho 4. What there's a
oh,
million different directions. What direction you want to go with it?
okay. Well, last night I was watching and they said that they're speculating that the killer, Brian's sister, was at the scene taking pictures, and that people were commenting, and that detective as were commenting that that was perfectly legal. And I'm thinking, nuh-uh, I don't think so. So that's what I'm like. What's good? Why would the killer's sister get to go in the crime scene and take pictures and record? Unless she's his lawyer, I don't get it. So that is my question of the hour. Why and what is that true? Because people were saying, yeah, that's perfectly normal. I'm thinking, then yeah, they were saying that anybody could do that. No, we couldn't just go over there and go in that house and take pictures. So then I was like over it. I'm like, I'm over it. And then I was like, I was getting a little like, no, that just not. Does that sound normal to you? That you can just go into any crime scene, like right now, you and I, let's just hop over there and go in and take
No,
pictures. Exactly.
absolutely not. Not
So,
anybody. But
so
I think as a family member, if there was somehow she's representing him
right,
and
that's the only way that she was representing him.
yeah, but you would have to have permission,
Yeah, that
you
just,
know.
and I don't even know because Bullhorn Betty,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
he's the one that came out with that it was a sister, and then everybody's saying it's not the sister. I don't even know if it's a sister or not, so I don't have any clarification on that. But let's just say it is a sister, and she's just taking pictures and recording. And she's been in that slasher film where she made. I mean, she was in a slasher movie, right? Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
But yeah, in 2011, she's in a movie where college students were slashed to death. I didn't,
Hmm.
which is another like really how much more bizarre does this get? But yeah,
Yeah.
she's an actress in a slasher film. So that was my question. And then also he was possibly going to be interviewed by Cuomo, and I just can't watch that dude. I
Oh,
have no respect for that loser. Sorry, not sorry,
yeah.
but I have no respect. I wouldn't. And the only reason I do go to YouTube channels and watch other sources of news is so I don't have to watch these losers. In my
Yeah.
opinion. Sorry if any Cuomo lovers are out there, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell no. Not when they
I,
let everybody's parents die. Don't get
yeah,
me.
he had some creepy stuff going on. Yeah,
I just,
he's very scary.
the trust. It's a trust thing. It's like I don't trust one word that comes out of your mouth. And also, who knows what he's going to say to you? I don't know if he was on it or not, but who knows what he's going to do to you? He may get you on a show and tell you, yes, please come on. We want to interview you. You're fabulous. And then get him on there and say, what do you know? You know what I mean? Treat him like
So
crap.
somebody's talking about Brian being interviewed,
No,
the sister.
no, T-Rev was going to be interviewed by Chris Cuomo.
Oh, I missed that part.
Right. And I was like, my mind was like, shoot. But yeah, he was going to be interviewed possibly by Chris Cuomo.
Oh.
And that's why I just was like, I'm out.
I thought he was going to be
I
interviewed
don't
by
like
news station or something. I
Yeah,
didn't
probably.
realize it was
He's on
Cuomo.
one of those things. And
Maybe he was
you know
just
what? T-Rev didn't even know how to pronounce his last name. So it's not like he's a follower of him and doesn't know any of his background. But like I was saying, I don't watch any mainstream news people or any of that because I just don't trust them at all. That's why I
Yeah.
watch YouTube. And then, you know, the YouTube people I watch, we have to speak in code because it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't even say, you can't say certain words. And it's like, oh my gosh. But anyway,
Yeah.
that was my question. There's no way people can just go in and take pictures. No, that would
No.
be
No.
weird.
And I think there would be a police escort as well, or detectives, you know.
I would hope so, because you could be like, I don't know.
So Amelia said that she really likes the 1111 tarot. The lady's name is Danny, goes by Miss D, I guess. Does some interesting personal card readings, nice community there. Maria says, in England, we have seen Colin Stagg and Barry George charged for murders the police knew they had not committed when they were arrested. Innocent until proven guilty. Both of those men were convicted and later released because they were innocent. Yeah. Oh, Amelia. Okay. I don't think I actually follow Bullhorn Betty, but I do.
I'm listening, but I'll be right back. My stomach is growling because I need to eat like a piece of bread.
Grab something. But I it's funny, bullshit Betty instead of Bullhorn Betty. I gotta admit that's humorous. Okay. But I watch a little bit every now and then sometimes of hers, depending on like where she did the axe throwing thing in Moscow. So I thought that was interesting. Maria has the sense that the murders were occult based, a rite of passage. And if the guy was so meticulous, why did he leave a knife sheath with a single strand of DNA inside the bed? Yeah. And why wasn't it the sheath covered with DNA? Why was there only a little bit of it? Almost seems like a setup. Andy Garcia says, with you on that. And I'm not sure if you're talking about someone in chat or one of us talking about something, but thanks that you're with us. Maria said if the Moscow police were British police, she would be saying cover up. Something doesn't feel right. And Amelia doesn't know who Chris is. Chris Cuomo. He was on CNN.
Andrew Cuomo's brother.
And Andrew Cuomo was the governor of New York.
Right. That sent all the people to the nursing homes.
Yes, exactly.
Who died. And Chris Cuomo, his brother, pretended to be down in the basement when he had COVID, and that was all a lie because he was caught on his bicycle. I mean, that's why I do not trust one word that comes out of their mouth.
Yeah. He was on Long Island or the Hamptons or something like that. Sorry, there was a mosquito buzzing around. I was like getting the mosquito away.
Oh, I was like, I thought you were with me, like mind blown. Here I thought you were with me and you're just.
Oh, there was a mosquito.
No,
got
anyway.
the initial impression it was linked to a group at the school. And that's Maria. And Amelia says growling tummy, num, 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 num.
Yeah, my tummy was growling, making noise.
I was listening to, has anybody ever seen Ruby, the Texas Medium, I think is what she's called? Ruby.
No, but hold on, I gotta go tell my dog to be quiet. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, with you on the Chris Cuomo sentiment. Yeah. What a creep. Just a creep. So she she channels, I believe, but she doesn't channel live. She'll do her own channeling, and then she'll go over her notes. And so in the very beginning, she was saying that she thought there was a Philip, and then that for a brief period there was that Philip Coates, but Koch, that, you know, his name was bounced around a little bit, but nothing really ever came of it. I'm just talking about Ruby, the Texas medium. She channels, and then she'll share her notes of her channeling on her show. So early on, she felt there was a Philip and a J, and that there were at least two people involved. And so today she just did a new stream, and she had done a new channel, and it was like really, really, I'd highly recommend just going and listening to her. She still thinks there was at least two people, and maybe that Brian is probably involved, but there's somebody else. And so this whole like ritual because somebody keeps talking about like that church that's there, you know, I don't remember the name of
the church.
there's a church that is apparently pretty satanic.
Oh.
And I don't remember the name of that church. But so yeah, that could be part of it. I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense that Brian, I think they have enough evidence that Brian was there. The whole Dylan see like standing there and freezing. I mean, it doesn't make sense the way the affidavit portrays it with the limited amount. Like, so did she just open her door and freeze, or did she actually open her door and walk outside of the room and freeze on the outside? You know, because I don't see him just. I don't see the killer, whoever it is, and I don't think we'll find out if I get some kind of strike for saying that. All right.
What, allegedly?
I'm not going to say unaliver. Okay. Whoever the killer is.
Why can't we say the word?
Yes, on one hand, he's going to be exhausted from killing 4 people. But on the other hand, he's also going to be hyped up on adrenaline. Who knows if he actually took another substance prior to doing it that would also heighten everything. So I think he'd be more on a high than exhausted and drained. Even if there was a certain amount of physical draining that happened, I think that the adrenaline would still be there. I think if he saw her, that he would kill her. I've heard one person say maybe like you leave one person alive as a witness to tell the story kind of thing. I don't think so. And I think it makes a lot of sense that the reason the police said that she was downstairs instead of mosquito. I don't know. I don't see anything smushed on my hands.
I love it when I get one.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I hate those bastards.
Because the police did say that her and Bethany were downstairs on the first floor, which was a lie, right? Because now we know that she was on the second floor. So why would they do that? Maybe to protect her, that if he didn't see her on the second floor, if he didn't know, so he didn't know someone else was on that second floor, and he's being set, you know, the police are saying that Dylan was on the first floor, then she wouldn't have seen anything because she would have been on the first floor.
Right. And what,
you know, that makes sense. That makes sense that they would do that. But just the way that there's not enough information about it. And it's, you know, a preliminary hearing would have a lot more details, especially if they did it like with the O.J. Simpson trial. That preliminary, every bit of that preliminary hearing was live, was actually live on TV, not record. It was live on TV. I was so glued to that TV. And then then you had the trial as well. But there was so much information in the preliminary trial. So if they were to do that, then we would get maybe a clearer picture. But as it is with the information we have, it's not making sense with Dylan.
No, it's not. It's very normal to say that because it's a huge elephant in the room that clearly everyone is noticing. And then some people are being ridiculed because how dare you say anything? She's a young girl. I'm like, I had at least had one kid at that age. And my kid, when they were like 2, knew how to call the police. There's one for 2 little factors, but okay, the way it's written and everything, it's left us with nothing but to question it. It's obvious. It's like, hello, I'm in the room. Like there's a huge elephant in the room, but don't talk about it now.
Right. So I don't make judgments on her because I think there's not enough information for us to make a judgment on, like, is she lying? Was she part of it? You know, was it just a normal reaction to fear and freezing? And you know, did she have some kind of her own self?
Well, if you were freezing, exactly.
Like shut it out. You know, we don't know. So just I'm not making any judgments on her.
Yeah, the Danny from the tarot thing, or 1111, she's right where we are, but she's mad because people are like mad at us for questioning Dylan. And I'm sorry, but that's what we do. That's what it's about. You question everybody. You don't say it. You got to question, you know, that's what we do.
There's a difference between raising questions and accusing someone. You know, accusing, no. Raising questions, sure. So let's see. Amelia says, thanks for the explanation. Southern Hemisphere, different news here. Oh, do you not know about the Idaho 4 even happening? About the, you know, do I need to like just give a brief rundown on what the case is? And let's see. She said Mother Kirk Church. I don't know if she's saying. Maria says, if it was occult based, did he drain some of their blood? Right. Were their organs missing? And one of the fathers, I don't know if it was Kaylee's father again, was interviewed, and I don't remember which creator I was listening to about it. And because they were saying, did he just reveal some things? And the point that they were getting to was later in the interview, like, did he reveal something about this? But what the creator didn't mention, but he like played the clip of the interview, was that he made a comment about what they did to Ethan was inhumane, or what he did or something, right? He made a comment about how monstrous or horrendous or whatever was done to Ethan.
And I heard something that was one of the girls' faces was unrecognizable, but we don't know that was just the grapevine.
We don't know if there was anything painted on the walls in blood, if there were, like I said, organs missing or something. We don't know any of these things. So yeah, until you have the full crime scene information, like even blood, like, people are still going, well, he must have killed, you know, according to this affidavit, well, then the 2 girls were killed first upstairs and then downstairs and everything. And I'm going, does the affidavit actually say that?
No, they're just speculating because she mentioned
still,
that one.
It's still speculation.
Yeah.
You know, I found it really interesting that there was that food delivery, you know,
that totally helps out with the timeline for sure. I mean,
that 4 o'clock.
And Xana was on TikTok at 4 a.m. as well, or 4 something, so they can narrate. I mean, if we can't go. I'm not going by anything Dylan says. I just can't right now.
Right.
So I will go by the Ring camera and the food delivery truck and the Uber or whatever. Those we can document. Hearsay, not yet.
Right. And they
It doesn't make
what was I
sense.
thinking of? Dylan's room. I mean, now that we know where Dylan was,
I mean, they've just found a
that's
footprint.
directly
Proves the
under
story.
Maddie's. That's directly under Maddie's room.
And they found the
You got-
footprint that was
And
right.
there's two people were killed to some extreme.
Right.
I think one of them had defense wounds
Yes.
because he probably started killing the one, the other one woke up, and so, yeah, she would have heard some major noises up,
Which
you know.
she did. Which, well, if we can believe
Right.
her, if you're going to open your door 3 times, usually you don't get up 3 times to open your door for nothing.
Right. You heard some, she
And
admits.
if it was normal to get up and open your door,
Yeah.
then why mention, but it was like, I heard something and 3 times.
But I'm thinking that, it's a college thing. People might be having sex, whatever. No, 2 people being murdered is not going to sound like anything other than that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I would think there would have been, like someone was saying, the amount of blood that had to have been on the killer or the unaliver, whatever.
Right?
Would have smelled as well.
Oh, the smell of blood. That coppery is a coppery smell. Anyway, all right, let me keep going because I'm sure we're. Unstable Mabel's here. Hi, Unstable Mabel.
Hey, get your butt on here.
So Amelia says only 50% of evidence is necessary to present for a probable cause affidavit. I think there's more to. We're sure there's more to Dylan's statement, so we're not judging her. Maria saying hello. Everyone's saying hello to Unstable Mabel. She's saying hi back to everybody. I know. Amelia says she knows about the Idaho 4. She does follow true crime. She meant she doesn't hear much about the political news, about the Cuomo thing, unless she actively looks for it.
That's old news.
It was during COVID. It was a long time ago.
It's old news, but it's in my mind burnt.
Yeah. And T-Rev was probably just going over everybody who had contacted him asking for an interview and maybe not saying that he was actually considering going on with.
Well, that was one of the ones, Chris. It was Chris.
Yeah.
But I mean, and other people in the room in the chat were saying, ew, we don't like him either. It's like,
how does he even have any credibility left to still be working?
How does he walk the streets and not with all he?
Why doesn't he climb under a rock or something?
Why don't they just go away and live their lives? They could be perfectly fine. Just go away.
Go
away. They need those fires.
They're the only explanation.
You'd be surprised at the amount of people that just think they're wonderful, no matter what they do. It's sad, but I know what they do. I saw him caught in a lie that was like, oh my gosh,
right.
Embarrassing. He should be so embarrassed. I don't know, did he ever admit?
So there was on the bicycle outside of the house when he was saying, I'm quarantined in the house. That was the one lie. But wasn't there a lie too about him exercising? He was in his
had him on Good Morning America and all these shows like, oh, he's down in the basement, and then he comes up. Oh, it was so fake. And once you know it's just so fake, like, oh my gosh, family, here I am again. So you lied. You just saw your old family this whole time. Give me a break.
Right. Okay, so Maria said the reason she came up with the ritual killings was based on when the coroner said that it wasn't like a knife wound. They were telling a family member it's not like a wife wound, it's more like a gouge. And when she heard that, she thought more of a claw, like a claw weapon. And that's where her mind went to ritual killing. It's possible,
That's another thing that confuses
Hi,
me.
Mabel.
The knife confused me because it was supposed to be serrated, but the one that fits in the sheath is not as serrated. I don't know. What's up with that?
Right. Just a little bit. Yeah. Amelia says Dylan is an eyewitness. In my opinion, police aren't going to release the entire statement until court. I agree. Yeah. And we would hope in a preliminary hearing that they would tell us more about that and whether they tell us all, because again, in the same as with the affidavit, that you're just You're telling enough to get the arrest warrant. Whereas in a preliminary hearing, you're telling enough to say we have enough to go to trial. So you don't have to, I mean, but I don't know what the rules like on discovery are, because they're supposed to, through discovery, share, you know, the defense has something, they have to share it with the police. If the police, or district attorney, I'm sorry, that if the district attorney has something, they have to share it with the defense, or prosecutor, we could say prosecutor and defense. Then through discovery, they have to share it with each other. I don't know if that also applies that during the preliminary hearing, if you're under any obligation to share, the purpose is to show that you have enough to go to trial.
Right.
Then, okay, Mabel's saying hi to everyone. Andy's back in, says, what's up with bad things? Gabby Petito, Idaho 4, 2 Girls Scout. Oh, no. 2 girls at campground, meaning that's Kylie, right? Kylie and...
No, he's probably talking about the girls on the train track that were killed.
No, not train track. No. The ones that we think Brian might have done.
Oh.
Even though somebody else killed them, the husband and wife, the spouses, the 2 women that were spouses with each other.
I didn't hear about
in
that.
Moab. What? You
Oh,
just not...
okay. Oh, well, there's 2
did.
Brians. You're confusing me. You said Brian. I'm thinking of Brian, the one we're talking about now.
Oh, no, I meant Laundry. Brian Laundry.
Yeah. Okay, yes. I definitely know who you're talking about. And
Right.
they said the guy dead.
Crystal and
Yeah.
Kylie.
Right.
I think.
I
Okay.
know.
So then the Truckee missing girl, that's Kylie Rodney, missing girl at the lake, and the FedEx driver and the little girl. Yeah, that was, that didn't get, I mean, okay, when it happened, it was out. Nothing, there was no real follow-up, no digging or anything into that. But yeah, that's creepy that happened.
Yeah.
So
today there's just a boyfriend that killed his 16-year-old girlfriend. That one's in Utah.
I did see that. Yes. I mean, I didn't see
the family the guy that killed his whole family and mother-in-law.
Yeah. And then what about the 6-year-old that just shot his teacher?
Yep.
6 years old. You know, crime. There's always crime. It's just that now with, I think, social media, we're able to talk about it more and to dig in more. Yeah. Sorry, I have a sarong on, you see? The sarong. And every now and then
are you trying to get more followers in here? I thought you were gonna flash us.
So I have to retie it, because it kind of, you move around and it and the cloth loosens up, and then I gotta like do that little tying thing again. Maria says surely they would have been screaming and she didn't hear that. So see, my idea on the screaming is, if you've got 2 people in the same bed, you could slice the throat of the first one and then proceed with stabbing. I mean, if you could, there's many options. One option is you could slice the throat of the first one, then they can't scream, right? Unfortunately, it'd be they could gurgle, and that's all.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, oh,
yeah. But then the other one wakes up. Because of that, they wake up. Now that person could scream before they're attacked, you know. Right. But someone was saying something that they thought that one of them was in the bed and the other one was like in the bathroom or something, and came back into the room and then got attacked and thrown on top of the other one.
Yeah. Or Xander could have been going to the door to get the food. The other, I don't know. He could have been. I don't know. It's just what we do. What we do know is at least we have the record of certain things that they can't.
Well, it sounds like,
not his day.
Since Xana was awake, if he did go up to the 3rd floor first, that unlike Dylan, who in the nicest way we could think of her was at least a scaredy cat, right? Then at least Xana might have gone to investigate. And because, okay, the crime scene would answer all of this. All right. They know exactly based on the crime scene. But so one possibility is that she had come out of the room, that Ethan was still in the room. She had come out of the room because she heard something going on and she came to investigate what was happening when he came down the stairs and then, attacked her out, began to attack her outside of the room, moving back into the room.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't, that's hard for me. It's hard for me to see that scenario playing out, in that it was Dylan asleep and she was awake and hungry and on her TikTok while he was sleeping, or was he awake too and they were both sharing a snack? Because if he was awake too,
You mean Hannah was awake?
we know Xana was awake. She got
Right.
the food and was on her TikTok, but we don't know if Ethan was in bed next to her sleeping or if he
Right.
was awake. Because if he was sleeping and he was kind of in a bit of a dead sleep, I could see Xana getting attacked and then the killer seeing Ethan and attacking Ethan as well.
Well,
But if
yeah,
Ethan was awake, it would be very difficult to be fighting two people at the same. If you didn't take one down first, it would be very hard to be handling two people that are awake and fighting back at the same time. That would be
right.
difficult. I have a hard time seeing that play out. But let me get back here to the comments, because
He was like preoccupied at the time. Was in the shower. I mean, we don't know, or you know what I mean.
Well, I was.
No. He was on the toilet, and somebody came in and just. But somebody said, if we believe Dylan, who said she heard someone say someone's in the house, that would have alerted Ethan maybe to get up and investigate.
Well, I can tell you with my ex-husband, when I heard someone in the house, I'm like, wait, I hear something. Please go check it out. He's like, ugh. He rolled over.
It's always the woman that gets up.
And I had to get up and go and look and see and make sure, because the kids are in other rooms. If there's someone in the house, I can't just stay in my room. I got to go, mama bear.
Right.
But
Wait for them to, yeah, it's like.
He's stay in bed and he wouldn't get up, even though I'm like shaking him, please go see what, I think someone's in the house, please.
Like, oh, first we'd have to wake them up out of their dead sleep. By then the killer's taken over.
So what if Ethan was like that? I'm not saying he was a jerk. My ex-husband was a jerk. But in the sleep, not wanting to wake up, kind of dazed when you're in a deep sleep. If he was in that REM sleep at that moment or something.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But when I first fall asleep, I'm pretty much out.
Talking about sleeping, Mabel says she just woke up.
Mabel, I've been waiting for you. What the heck? How can you just wait? She must have been out at the club. She was Oh, I know. She was listening to my Shaka Khan song. And she was
Shaka
like, Mabel got down. Mabel took up the table last night. She's out partying all night long.
And so then let's see, Amelia, we've got Amelia. If Kaylee and Maddie were asleep, they wouldn't have stood a chance, even knowing what was happening or reacting. Correct. If they were both asleep, like I said, you get the one and the other one maybe starts to wake up, but you're right on them in that very moment. Because if you take that first one, especially with the throat, there's no scream, there's no fighting back, there's nothing, but the person next to them feels, hears. Oh God, the sound must have been, because obviously there was a lot of stabbing going on, and there's been no mention of slitting of throats ever.
That's true. I haven't said that.
Nothing has said that. Only that there were stab wounds, and the coroner saying that there was more, that it wasn't only stabbing, that there was gouging. Yeah. But yeah, if they were both asleep, they wouldn't have stood a chance. Correct.
Well,
Good mornings to
pray that they were asleep and didn't feel a thing.
more coffee. Slashing subconsciously says disfigurement. It's
So,
possible.
okay, here's I'm just gonna give a theory because just
Yeah.
from that one case, remember the psycho mother that made her daughter in a wheelchair and pretended she had cancer. Gypsy something was her name.
Gypsy Rose?
It was that syndrome that she wanted to have her daughter sick all the time. She said she had cancer. She didn't. Then the daughter ended up getting her boyfriend to murder her to unalive
Mm-hmm.
mother
Go ahead.
while the daughter stayed in the bedroom. It's even a Lifetime movie, lady. Just kidding. It's I think her name's Gypsy. I want to say Gypsy Rose or Gypsy Lee, but no, it's Gypsy.
I came into this one late, but it's even that it's been like at least a year, I think, that yeah, and then it was like the mother and the daughter's boyfriend and the
Right.
mother were having an affair and all of this.
Oh,
right?
no.
You sure that there were rumors? There were rumors that they were having an
The
affair.
mother was definitely not having an affair with this guy. No, it was like this girl was sick. It's like I think her name was Gypsy, and the mother was using her daughter. You know, she Munchausen syndrome. Is that what it's called?
Well, there is
Anyway,
a Munchausen. I'm not sure if that's the one. It might be.
Anyway, the mother was making her daughter be sick and pretending she had cancer for years and years and years. And the daughter ended up meeting some boy online.
Someone says Blanchard. Is this Blanchard?
Yeah. Is it Gypsy? Was her name Gypsy? Someone help me out here. I can't Google it. Help! I can't use my. I Google everything. But yeah, so I get the vibe from that. I get the vibe. Okay, if I'm just gonna be. This is all allegedly.
Go for it.
But let's say that Dylan does not like at all. She's got a grudge. She doesn't like these people. And she tells it all to this psycho guy who's now the psycho is getting attention from this pretty young girl that hates these other people secretly. And he does it for her in a way to win her love. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely is possible.
That's a guess.
Yeah, it's we're not accusing anybody of anything. We're just saying we're asking, could this be a possibility?
Right.
It could. It could be a possibility.
Because we have 7 hours of we don't know anything, and we only know what we were told, and we haven't been told that she has a gag order where she can't speak, do we? Nobody said that Dylan is not coming out and saying anything because she
did that gag order say anybody involved, police, anyone involved?
It could be, but I think it was also, which is why also that footage of the scream from a Ring camera or whatever probably isn't real because they're not. That's a gag order against that. So I don't know what's real, but that's just a guess. That's my little guess.
Yeah. So Mabel said the DNA is damning. Absolutely.
I don't think they got the guy. I just think he did it for someone.
Right.
So we willingly and happily.
Right. And whether or not anybody else was involved, whether it was possibly Dylan or even somebody else.
Right. Or maybe
was there a ritual thing? Was there some kind of other involvement? Two incels together, that's like, yeah, we're incels, they wouldn't say that, but I mean, whoa, crying our beer together, well, let's do something about it,
Yeah, they've also mentioned snuff films and all this in this case, though.
I had a really bad feeling about that.
So I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
When they were talking, it was that Reddit, it was 4chan. It was that 4chan post that was accusing the frat boys. And they said one of them had their phone out or something. Like, and then I was just like, oh, what if whether it's them, whether it was frat boys or not, it was like, Oh, what if you did have like the one person doing it and a second person that was filming it? And what if it was being filmed live on the dark web for people
I
to be
know,
bet?
who knows? Because we don't think like these sick people in the world. It's
Right.
hard.
But that kind of thing happens.
I
So,
know.
oh, that would be
I
horrible.
know. It's disgusting and sick, and we don't. Our minds just can't even comprehend that. Mine can. Ugh, no. But yeah, it's out there. That's for sure. Every sick possible thing imaginable.
So Amelia says, I wonder if or who Brian knows living in the immediate area. Exactly. And it's this Philip guy that Ruby Ruby keeps hearing this Philip guy. Is he one of the guy? Is he the partner? Because that is a guy that's in the local area. Was he stalking from an acquaintance's place? True. He could be hanging out with that friend, that acquaintance, and then going over and doing the stalking. I think he wouldn't want to look obvious or out of place to watch them. Yeah. I think he definitely went up that street that goes to the behind, to the wooded, to like you have those woods behind the Idaho 4 house. And then there's like a parking area that's up there. And there's not a street that goes out, but there's like a walkway to a subsequent street from that spot. So he could have put there and just walked through that parking lot, to the trees, or he could have parked right there behind the trees. That makes the most sense to me. I don't see him as having committed the crime parking up on when you have the reporter and you see the white Hyundai go past on that road back there. I think that could have been him checking out, like, like an arsonist. That could have been him driving. But I don't think when he was stalking and committing the crime that he was up on that road.
Right. But yeah, that probably was him in that car.
Allegedly.
Allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
I'm getting good at this, although I'm not. I'm trying to be good.
To be honest, I think it's cute when we all say that or whatever. You don't hear actually me say it because I'm not like, we're talking a little bit of true crime here.
That's why.
But my show is about rambling, and the topic tonight is paranormal. So like in the algorithm, I'm paranormal esoteric stories.
Right.
But of course we ramble onto different things. We've happened to ramble here.
Okay.
So that's why, what am I going to say in the beginning about paranormal and esoteric stories? That this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, here's my thing. It's like, okay, so we take the legal definition of what's acceptable and we just throw that in the front or say it. Does that to me, that's like the person that farts in the room and says, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then they fart again. "Oh, I'm sorry." No, you're not sorry.
That's right.
Go outside for 15 minutes and then come back in when you're done or something, right? I mean, they're not sorry.
Example.
A good example, I feel like that. I feel like the legal system would look at it, you're in a court of law.
Yeah.
Because somebody feels they've been defamed or whatever, and you're like, yeah, but play the recording. You see, there I am. This is for entertainment only. I said it. So therefore I can say anything I want to. Right. And Pam, if you're watching this on replay, because I know you went out, I know you say that all the time. I'm not saying that people shouldn't say that. Okay. And maybe there is some level of protection in saying that, especially if you're saying it and you are being careful. Right. But if you're just being careful from the get-go, then why do you even need to say it? I don't know.
There's probably people in the chat saying it to her. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I've told in the beginning when she was first starting, like before the hurricane, somebody like said, "Oh, you need to say this," And that's not bad advice. I'm not saying it's bad advice, and Pam should keep saying it. I'm just saying
Right.
I don't bother with it for me.
Right, because everything we say is, I mean, it's just our opinions. We should be able to give our opinions and talk so far.
Exactly. And we're not accusing anybody of anything. And of course, raising questions, there's no problem. I mean, we can raise questions. So
we're raising questions that what's obviously needs raised questions for, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to us, and we're curious. I was watching someone's video on, someone had taken a deleted, I guess, video from the Kylie Rodney thing where they're all standing around at the beginning, like around her sign, and they're forming this, come talk to us, we're trying to find Kylie Rodney.
Oh, yeah.
It's Sammy and a couple other
and
kids
Max and stuff, yeah.
I can't read lips, so I don't know what they're saying, but it was like somebody's edited so it can be lip read, but I'm not that person, so I don't know what they're saying. So we need a lip reader to figure out what they're saying. But they all look very strange, and that whole thing there, no, that's total gaslighting, BS, make you lose your brain stuff. And that's why I said I'm not watching any creator that made all this money talking about it, how weird it was, and it didn't make sense, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's perfectly makes sense now. And any of you that think not, fine, I okay, but and then it's like, wait a minute, yesterday and for the last 2 months, but now it's like this, who got to you? Who got to you and told you to shut up? I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay, we got lots of comments.
Okay,
6 Cent Amelia says something about BRBAFK checking my sheep. Oh, be right back. Okay. She's checking her sheep.
Back in school, we did, before texting was even around. Did you used to do that too? You'd write just the first letter of a word. And for my friend, we could figure it out by just one letter. Like she just did it and be like, and it would be like, and so said this. Like we were so good at it. Back in the day, we were ahead of our time.
So Amelia also asked Kaylee didn't live there. She was visiting and showing her friends her new car. So Kaylee being a primary target isn't as likely unless Brian was stalking her from her parents' place. 100% agree. I think in that case, Maddie is more likely the target than Kaylee.
Dylan knew she was going to be coming and showing her car
because of the social media.
Because she lived there.
He was following her on social media. And Kaylee's the one that Maddie was so drunk that Kaylee's the one that was at the food truck, had her phone out constantly and videotaping and this and that and whatever, right? So her phone could be tracked because I guess she had left her settings on where like you can find me or something, right?
Her location.
Yeah, through some of the apps or something. So people, because I don't know, that was early on. It's like, oh well, anybody could be her stalker because they've got their settings on. It's like, I looked at their settings; they're on.
You're like, hi, I'm at McDonald's right now on 7th Avenue.
Yeah. So I think it's even more than that. I think it's like, for example, if Facebook, sometimes you make a post on Facebook and it says where you are. It says, oh, posting from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. But you didn't put that in. It put that in.
Oh.
And so if you have your settings on Facebook just normal, you haven't like restricted your privacy settings or something, it will say where you are when you're posting. And
if you don't have that turned off, it will.
Exactly. And I think somebody was saying their apps, whichever, maybe not Facebook, but whatever apps, they were able to be followed. So, but I think it's also possible. Again, we don't know. So there's speculation now about whether one was in the bed and one was not in the bed when the attack on the 3rd floor started, right? But I think, I don't know, one of the first things that I had thought was that if, for example, Maddie was the intended target, it's dark, if they're both sleep, if if they're
Right.
both sleeping and the person who's closest to the door, you don't realize there's even a second person in the bed. You're focused that it's Maddie's room, blonde hair. Are they facing you or faced away from you? What if they're faced away and you reach over and slash their neck as they're faced away, and
Right.
then turn them onto their back and start doing more damage? And so therefore, let's say if Maddie was the intended target, but Kaylee was in the position of Maddie, and all of that rage,
Yeah, that makes sense.
tension went into Kaylee because they thought Kaylee was Maddie.
Right. You're right.
That's a possibility,
That sounds pretty, that sounds true.
Now that's a possibility only as speculation that we don't have crime scene evidence, because I guarantee you the crime scene evidence would say whether that's a possibility or not.
Right.
So that's only a Schrodinger's cat possibility, in the fact that the box is still closed and we don't know what's in the box. I don't know if that works or is it.
It's a mystery, Charlie Brown.
There anyway. Okay. Blanchard. Okay. Everybody. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Andy's Shaka Khan. Did Brian have an obsession with Dylan? Perceive some type of insult from the others? Yeah. Now it's true that Maddie and Xana worked at the same restaurant that has vegan menu options. So there's speculation that something could have happened where those two interacted with him and became the targets.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense in the fact that Kaylee wasn't living there, Ethan wasn't living there, Maddie and Xana were living there, and they were both working at the same restaurant.
Yeah.
So
there's something to that.
Is it possible? Sure. Gypsy Rose Blanchard hid
Okay, I know Gypsy something.
Oh, so she hid while her boyfriend unalived Gypsy's mother.
And believe me, the mother was a bitch. Let's just say that.
Yeah, the one I was thinking of earlier was the mother and the boyfriend possibly killed the daughter.
Oh Lord, I know. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I think it's still unsolved.
I've seen them all on Lifetime movies.
There's probably one about that one too. Okay, so then Mabel says, having only a public defender and all those others helping sounds like Brian is pulling in favors and contacts that he knows, allegedly. That's possible.
It's just so weird, and the plot keeps thickening with just backgrounds of like the sister being in the slasher movie. I mean,
Oh, we're caught up. That's the last comment. And we still have 4 eyeballs. So it looks like that is Chalet, Andy, Amelia, and Mabel. So I guess maybe Maria's gone. Maybe she had to go do something.
clean the oven.
Oh, no, that was Amelia that needed to clean the oven.
Yeah.
I thought. Maybe.
Well,
Doesn't matter.
spray it down with some easy off.
You're supposed to get your speaker out, and see, mine has pretty colors that keep changing. So that way you can do whatever you got to do and still listen.
She might be listening. No.
Well, there's only 4 eyeballs though.
Oh.
And
okay, someone's gonna have to do a tap dance or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you guys all winding down? It's almost midnight on my side. It's been 3 hours. So what I'm thinking about doing is on Tuesdays, I'll do my nighttime, your morning. And then on Thursdays, I'll do my morning, your Wednesday night.
Okay.
Right? So I guess that's
so you're gonna be on tonight?
Tuesday morning and Wednesday night for Americans.
Okay.
Right?
Tomorrow night you're going to be on for me. right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Is tomorrow Wednesday? Is tomorrow Wednesday?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is.
Let
It
me
is
double
here.
check.
I think so. It's
Yeah.
like, what day is it anymore? Yes,
Yeah.
tomorrow will be Wednesday.
And I'll just do those 2 days a week. That fits in my schedule well. So I'll just do those 2 days a week. And then that way also Pam knows what I'm doing because I
Yeah.
don't want to step on Pam's toes. So then because sometimes that 9ish, sometimes it's 9 in the morning, sometimes it's 9 at night. It seems like that's kind of her time, but not always. And so
Right.
I can't just
Yeah,
wait
but
around
you
not
can't
knowing.
predict the future.
I can't predict when she's going to be on or not. So I'm claiming those 2 times.
Okay. She's claimed them. And it was
They're
said, and all the
mine.
people said, "Amen."
Yeah.
She's received. She claimed it. She receives it, and all the people say, "Amen, Hallelujah."
That preacher talk, that preacher accent, preacher talk is exactly what I thought of with Lindsay, Kylie's mom.
Oh my gosh, was that not
You
sickening?
know, it's like I cannot think of any other.
I'm sorry, but I gotta just do this. And dear daughter, when I lay you down, dear daughter, it's like, no, stop, no. Dear God, make it
Yeah.
go. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was really, okay. And I just also heard, because did you watch CNN? Or not, oh, sorry, not CNN, duh. I don't watch CNN. See what, CNY, or is it, I don't know.
Oh,
She's
CNY family. CNY
yes,
family.
she's good.
Sometimes
She was showing a bunch of stuff on the Kylie thing. I can't remember where I was going with it, but I
the
don't know if
accent,
it's her.
Lindsay's accent, something about the mother.
Well, no, I think I got off on another tangent, but there was something I don't know if it was her that showed it or another person, but Jagger had a post like a year before she even went missing that said goodbye, and like,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
like she
Yeah.
was already gone, or was that just like
A little bit about that. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, but I'm not letting that crap go either. It's bull. I'm not gonna ever believe that story. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't
And
even
Mabel
know.
says there's too many coincidences.
Yeah, it's just, I don't even know if it was even real, or if it was all some TV show for all of us, with all the parts moving, and it was like, and then
Well,
some people like to say, well, we're being distracted, but is that what's distracting us? I don't know. It's like, are the things that they're saying are distracting us are the opposite, and it's the other thing.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
there's one premise for me in the Kylie Rodney case that I feel sure there's only one thing I feel sure about. And that is based on Lindsay's reaction to AWP.
Yeah.
That tells me that for many different possibility scenarios, okay, that they had that GoFundMe to get
Right.
money, and they knew the car was there, and they had their plan and their timeline that once they reached a certain amount of money, then someone would tip off and the car would be discovered. Okay, who's in the car? When did the car go in? Was Podesta involved in some kind of ring, trafficking ring? Was this a one-off? Did it happen? Did it literally happen accidentally? And they thought, okay, well, we can't bring her back, so let's make some money off of it. Possible, right? I mean, there's way many, but that's the one thing, is that the reaction, the only reason that you would not be falling over grateful that someone found your daughter.
I know, because when she first came out, and was crying and please find my daughter, okay?
Exactly.
That's what got everybody involved. But then her, like you said, then her reaction and all that. And then just all the weirdness and all the like weird singing and
Yeah.
middle fingers out and all this weird crap and all happiness. And they're just not normal. Sorry. And it leads me to believe the whole thing is a scam and that girl may not even be who she is, where she was ever.
Which then
I don't
becomes a
even think-
possibility.
I think they made a fictional character up to make money. Then something happened. I don't know. I just think, I don't even think she's real anymore. I'm kind of with, I thought Ryan was crazy at first, and now I'm like, maybe not, because it's not making any sense at all.
Yeah.
None of it's making any sense.
Definitely it's a possibility. But I've kind of stopped watching videos
Right.
about
I'm not, yeah, but they're not going to convince me that it's an accident, or now even that it's stupid. I think it's all a scam and something went awry, or like I said, they wanted us to get involved in it to take our minds off something really big.
That's always a possibility.
Like this is getting all of our crime community all involved in this. Well, way over there, something's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's no, they know what we're doing. You know, whoever the powers that be are, they know.
Yeah, and just wait till AI and transhumanism and stuff. We could have that as a topic as well. Sometime. You know.
Mind blown.
Yeah. Because it's coming. It's coming. There's nothing going to stop it. It's going to come. You know, it's just how is it going to be implemented and when? You know, and what will they do to the people that don't allow the implants and things like that, that say, no, I don't want to be part of the.
Oh yeah, they just get rid of us real quick. Like,
Gotta make sure.
you're breaking up.
Yeah. You know, or do they just, oh, is it better now?
Yeah,
Maybe. It's okay now?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the cat stepped on something. Are they just gonna have so they're gonna have their smart cities and such. So does everyone else just become outcasts that they ignore, that aren't part of society anymore? You know, like a leper colony, kind of, you know, shunned.
They're working on it, aren't they?
Which is kind of where most of the people that wouldn't want to be part of the transhumanism is what they'd want to be. Yeah, please shun us. Leave us alone.
Part of your system. Yeah, it's like, leave us alone. But they must need us for a while. They need us for something for a while longer.
Yeah, maybe like safari hunting.
Oh yeah, let's have some fun with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sick, twisted minds, but let's just pray that they all get eaten up by a big hole. And they just, because God can do anything. God can thwart their little plans and that.
True.
So we have to have faith and not just think it's all going to. We know certain things are happening, but let's still have a little faith.
Well, I think the faith and that having that connection with God is the key to it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if the rest of the world goes into the transhumanism and has a one world government and implements, you know, sustainability 2030 and all of, you know, WEF and Great Reset, and it doesn't matter if any of that happens if we keep our connection to God.
That's right.
You know, even Daniel was thrown into the lion's den.
That's right. Amen.
You know,
that. Right.
But God was with him.
Yeah, you can't take Jesus out of my heart. Nope.
Exactly. So
for me.
The rest of it really is all kind of just a movie. Even right now, us being here on YouTube is just filling time in a way, but I think it's great for people to have a connection, to share their stories. You know, it's a good way to spend time.
It is. It's healthy for us to talk.
Yeah. And to
Good.
have this sense of community.
Yes. So thank you for talking.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard for me. I can walk to a fence post. You should have seen me that one, the last live that I did. It was at least 20 minutes with no eyeballs. At least this time Andy Garcia was right here. So I had one person
Oh.
in right away, you know, and I'd say within the next 5-10 minutes, you know, you jumped in, and then Maria came on. And of course now we've got Amelia and Mabel as well, and Pam was in for a little bit. But yeah, that other live, for like 20 minutes I was talking to a fence post, you know what I mean?
Well, good. I talked to fence posts. I talked to the air.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
okay. I think it's time to wrap it up.
you're probably
I know-
ready for nighty night. You need to go
I
nighty.
am. It's midnight, and I've got to tutor a student tomorrow morning at 8:30, but it takes me about 40 minutes to get there. So I set my alarm for 7, and then I try to leave at 8, but then, you know, it's about 8:10, 8:15, and I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, you have a good night's rest.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining, for being here, for sharing your stories. Next topic, what do we want for our next topic?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever you think will keep the trolls away.
Well, it's not an official true crime community.
We have to distract the trolls, yet we have to bring people into the room.
Do we want to talk about transhumanism, CERN, AI, things like that? Do we
I
want to?
don't know much about CERN.
Well, that's what we can all talk about.
I know it's all bad. That's all I know. It ain't good.
They're opening a portal for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so then what's a more common? We want to talk about movies.
Yeah, we could do
You know,
that.
just movies in general.
We could talk about chocolate.
Is that chocolate? Chocolate?
He knows
that-
I love chocolate.
Is that Godiva or what?
Linder assorted
Yeah.
chocolate balls.
Oh, those are good.
The breakfast of the champions.
Yeah.
Oh, also, didn't you know that the new what is it?
That was a tip from the attorney.
Oh, good idea. Of the food chart, they're trying to say that, you know, junk food is better for you than eggs and meat. So here we go.
Chocolate's always good. Okay, so I'm going to put favorite movies,
Yeah, okay, that'll be fun.
and we can all talk about our favorite. So you get ready and get a little list, and we'll definitely, maybe we'll start it off with The Sixth Sense, or well,
Oh
once
yeah,
we've got it
yeah.
in, yeah. Hopefully Pam will join again, and Andy.
So whoever's not seen it needs to watch it.
9. Oh, it's 9:00 for Andy right now. Yeah, so you've got your morning fix of rambling, and
Yep, it's noon for me. Noon. Tea time.
tea time, and not so don't forget to, if you want to see The Sixth Sense again, if you haven't seen it before, watch it, and we'll definitely discuss it. Hopefully everybody that will be in the chat at that time, that we won't have to worry about any spoiler alerts, and we can freely discuss it.
Yeah.
In fact, I might put something like that in the description if anybody reads the description. I don't want to put it in the title, but I'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Please watch
Just rambling.
The Sixth Sense if you haven't seen it, and then make a note of your favorite movies, so you've got a list that you can bring up one by one some of your favorite movies. All right.
Sounds cool.
Sounds good. And then the week after that will definitely be the student stories.
Oh yeah. You got to hear about that head with the thing.
The app.
Oh.
5:00 p.m. in England. Yeah. I was gonna say New Zealand. No, you're ahead of me. So if it's like midnight, then it would be like 3 or 4:00 a.m. in New Zealand. However many hours like ahead, but yeah, 5 p.m. is England. Movie time. Excellent. Yes, I'm gonna find some clip art like that to put on my thumbnail, because we've got the "Are you ready to ramble?"
Yep.
But then the clip arts are what changes. So I'll find some clip art like what Andy just showed us. All right.
All right. Have a lovely evening or morning and afternoon and whatever, everybody.
Everything. Just have a wonderful life.
Everybody.
I had a rhyme today about 2023, and it's gonna be free, or I'm living free, or drama free. It was drama free. Drama free in 2023. I'm gonna write that down here. Drama free in 2023.
For you
That's
and
our-
me and all of thee.
That's the motto for your life. Don't accept any drama. I had some people trying to bring drama into my life, and I said, you know what? I have a choice not to have drama in my life. So you made the wrong choice trying to bring drama, because that just got you shut out.
That's
Right.
right.
And then that's what made it think of it. So blessings time, says Maria, as well as BB from Sir Keck 2. Mabel says love you all. Andy Garcia, clapper and movie camera. So
Charade.
yeah.
Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Okay, thank you for joining, and see you next time. And I'll post a schedule. I'll schedule it. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, see you later.